If we start a fitness channel instead of Basil and Gons, it'll be Barbell and Gains.
Oh.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 22nd, 2021. This is episode 290, and today, Build Babylon Better. And it's not my birthday, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And it is my birthday.
Yay!
And this is Gons. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And yep, I have made it another, I don't know, what's the flat earth thing? I guess the sun has rotated around the disk.
Yes, the sun has made it another circle around the disk.
Another circle around the disk 365 times. Is that what the...
I guess, yeah, you're right. Okay. Man,
sorry.
It's been so long since I've had to construct the technicalities of flat Earth in my mind live on the air. But there you go. Congratulations, Gons. You made it. Not only did you make it through 2020 and a global pandemic and a cyber pandemic and a dark winter and a baby.
I think we're in a dark winter still, but yeah.
Well,
appreciate it.
Say so.
Well, praise God for keeping me around for as long as he has. There's no reason for him to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you, God, and thank you all of you who have thanked me. Happy birthday wishes and stuff on the interwebs and everything. We'll get to some of that too during the break. Some excellent video editing and everything else happening.
Yeah.
My first deep fake. I have been deep faked.
I know. It's very exciting, and we're going to show you. Are you going to show that now, or is that in the during the break?
Yeah, I feel like waiting, but I mean, we can show it now.
Oh, it's up to you. It's your birthday.
That's true.
You can cry if you want to. I want to just real quick before we get too deep here, remind everybody, especially if you're over on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, bell button, all.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
Yeah, and we do that to use the algorithms to our own advantage, although, you all know how we feel about algorithms, but if they're going to be around anyways, we might as well do what we can to benefit from them. So please hit that like button. Thank you very much. And I will say, for those who have been doing that for us, we have seen a noticeable uptick in the benefits of the algorithm. So it really does help a lot. Let's see here. What else do we have at the top of the show here? I will say we got about an hour and a half or so until we take the producership break there. So if you forgot, you still have some time to leave a happy birthday Gons producership in the amount of 38 or 1983 if you want to especially help produce the show and say happy birthday to Gons in that way. You can do that by heading to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Okie dokie, Gons. Well, what do you think? Do you want to get right into the...
Well, let's do the Flippy update first, because we tend to ramble on and on about the poly ticks. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's do it. Flippy it up.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, if you're new to the show, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy to examine how the robots and the AI are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, I'm taking just a quick Flippy update from technologyreview.com. And the headline is, "These virtual robot arms get smarter by training each other." Dun, dun, dun. And it reads like this: a virtual robot arm has learned to solve a wide range of different puzzles. Now, remember, this is a virtual robot arm, so this is cyber flippy.
Yeah,
I think is introduced into the lexicon of the robot takeover. Stacking blocks, setting the table, arranging chess pieces without having to be restrained for each task. It did this by playing against a second robot arm that was trained to give it harder and harder challenges. Self-play. Oh, flippy. Come on. Developed by moving on. Developed by researchers at OpenAI, the identical robot arms Alice and Bob learn by playing a game against each other in a simulation without human input. The robots use reinforcement learning, a technique in which AIs are trained by trial and error that what actions to take in different situations to achieve certain goals. The game involves moving objects around on a virtual tabletop by arranging objects in specific ways. Alice tries to set puzzles that are hard for Bob to solve. Bob tries to solve Alice's puzzles. As they learn, Alice sets more complex puzzles and Bob gets better at solving them. Then there's a bunch of videos there, and we don't really need to go into the whole thing, except the takeaway from this is Flippy is going into his own virtual reality world to train. So you have a confluence of technologies there, which is pretty interesting. And B, the robots don't need us anymore. Not even to learn how to do tasks. They're teaching each other. And this is an interesting, for those who have been following the AI and robotics revolution, we've talked about, what are they called? The adversarial networks that was used with AI specifically, that's where artificial intelligence made some leaps and bounds as to its ability to complete tasks and learn. And this is interesting because it's sort of a robotic arm version of adversarial networks, where no longer is human interaction needed or even preferred to increase the viability of these robot arms. And instead, they just play with each other.
Yeah, and we didn't actually include this story in the show notes for today, but there's a ScienceDaily.com article that published titled "Designing Customized Brains for Robots. A new system devises hardware architectures to hasten robots' response time." And I feel like these virtual, tests, if you will, Flippy working within the virtual realm is sort of a blueprint to how fast they want an actual robot, like a physical Flippy, to be doing stuff, because you watch these little clips here and they're moving pretty quickly here. They're slicing, dicing, trying to pick up the bricks and putting the spoons
moving
down.
much faster than the average robotic arm would.
Right.
And that's part of the benefit of training them virtually like this. And it also goes, it's an interesting way to think about the robotic, the increasing ability of these robot arms, is that as far as the robot is concerned, you think about the machine learning and the robot mind, there really is no difference between what we would call the real world and virtual reality for the bots. They use the exact same mind to participate in either of the realms, whether it be virtual or meat space. And so they found that this is a much quicker way to train the robots, and actually having them train each other brings up a lot of strategies and situations that, human beings couldn't even think of putting these robots into. So I don't know. It's very interesting, and it's got this weird feel of self-propagation of knowledge and training within this robot virtual space.
Yeah, so much of this actually, if you dig in philosophically, speaks to the idea that there is a God, a creator of the world. Because,
right.
You go into a virtual space and you can control every aspect. You can control the gravity, the time, the space,
all the physics.
all the physics. And then you realize, wait a minute, we're bound to certain parameters in our physical world. Who set those parameters in place? And therefore the argument goes that God exists. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this is but unfortunately, we can't eat virtual hamburgers. I mean, we can try, but it's not gonna really do much. So, it's not really helping the flipping the
Oh, you mean
burgers.
Flippy? Yeah. Get back in the kitchen, Flippy.
Yeah. But the progress is there, and we're gonna keep an eye on it, so long as Flippy it is digital or physical or whatever it is. We're just gonna keep watching because it's coming. It's coming for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's get into some politics.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood. They'll suck.
Politics.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Got a whole bunch of Biden updates here, but I did find this Build Back Better montage that I want to play.
Ooh, fun.
It's a little under 2 minutes, but this is one of those clips where if any of your friends say, "Oh, Build Back Better, the Great Reset, it's all just conspiracy theory nonsense. There is no collusion happening behind the scenes with the world leaders trying to, build back better." Well, here's proof.
It's a very pertinent question to ask, how do we build back better?
To build back better or
Greta.
whatever.
We have a chance to reset the clock and build back better than before.
To build back better than before.
Remember the terrible damage of
You turn it
COVID
up a
as
little.
we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Joe Biden calls it Build Back Better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better.
It's my plan to build back better.
Start taking all the problems that have been created in education and mental health and start to build back in a positive way.
I have launched a booklet called Build Back Better, Britain After Coronavirus.
It's
After
about building
coronavirus.
this country back better.
Growing conspiracy following it. It is called the Great Reset.
Unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live.
The great opportunity for reset.
The theory even calls Mr. Biden's campaign slogan, Build Back Better, a front for the conspiracy.
Build back better.
Building back better our economy.
Build back better.
Big.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
Klaus.
It's a big effort some would say to build back better. We would say to really have a great reset.
Conspiracy.
So there you go. There's a bunch of world leaders there, including Hillary and Obama and hairy legs Joe Biden, Kamala. Bill Clinton was the creepiest one. He was like, "Build back better." So
Yeah. Well, that's fun. That's a fun little super cut.
Yeah.
Of course, we see and hear Build Back Better all over the place. And if y'all remember, Biden sort of, or at least Biden's team came out for it being his slogan during the campaign, but was actually around before the Biden campaign in the sort of global community. And so you even had, did this one have Boris saying it? Was he in the supercut?
Boris, maybe.
Yeah, because Boris is also famously has been pushing the Build Back Better.
Boris even has the podium with build. Build. Wow, great. And if you go back a few episodes of Canary Cry News Talk, I forget which number it was, but we actually had the title of the episode was Build Back Better, but the B's, considering a lowercase b instead of a B was a 6. So 666.
Oh my gosh, you've split this wide open.
I've cracked it open.
Well, just a couple other little things to take a look at. Screenshots were flying around the internet. It was very fun to see screenshots of the inauguration of Joe Biden back on Wednesday there. And from big outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, and they're getting ratioed. They're getting ratioed, Gons. And by ratioed, if you don't know, the kids say ratioed, I think, when you're getting way more dislikes than you are likes.
Yeah, and the screenshots that I saw of like a conglomerate of all these, more thumbs down than thumbs up, it was mostly from the White House channel. But I wanted to kind of look around and see if that was the case across the board, and it wasn't. So there were a few outlets that certainly, some of the main ones, I think ABC and CBS, there were a lot more thumbs up than thumbs down, although some have pointed out some manipulation taking place as well.
Some Photoshops.
No, not just some Photoshops, but YouTube lessening the number of dislikes.
Oh, right. Changing the
number.
Well, that's been pretty known for a while now that they make that a pretty common practice.
Yeah. Well, maybe not ABC, because I have this ABC screenshot, and these are my own screenshots here of 241,000 views from ABC News, and 8.1 K thumbs down to 5.5 K thumbs up. So it certainly was there, the ratioed videos, but it wasn't like a complete sweep, if you will. There were videos on YouTube, at least the top ones from the inauguration, that definitely had a little bit more of thumbs up than thumbs down. But
it's fine. It's fun to see like the Wall Street Journal one,
right?
With 6.3 thousand likes and 10,000 dislikes.
Yeah, and this is a couple days ago. I'm sure it's gotten worse, or they've shut it down so that that doesn't look as bad or whatever. But
sure.
Yeah. So the question that I've seen, floating around social media is, how do you get 80 million people to vote for this guy? And what was the number of people that watched it? Like less than 3 million or something?
We know that all the dislikes came from, J-Lo's outfit and Lady Gaga's pin and Keith, or what was that guy's name?
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, yes. Garth Brooks is a cappella Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
They tried to put the celebrities in there to boost the ratings, but it didn't quite work.
Celebrities certainly are in the pockets of the Democrats a lot more than the Republicans, it seems. At least recently.
Well, I thought it was funny because, Garth Brooks being in there, they're trying to get a different demographic to enjoy and watch the thing, especially singing a hymn like that. And, when Biden talks about being everyone's president and trying to bridge the divide, he said, "Here's Garth Brooks. Like me, conservatives."
See,
people like Garth Brooks? Is that a thing?
I don't know. He did do an alter ego where he was a goth. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was, what was his name?
I don't remember.
It was like he tried a rock and roll career.
Was it just rock and roll? Because I think it was like a flat out goth look.
Chris
Gaines. Chris Gaines.
Yes, Chris Gaines. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I got to look up a picture of Chris Gaines real quick.
I think he's trying to wipe it all off the internet.
Yeah. Well, it was early on in his career, and he's just trying to figure out what'll hit, what thing will work. And look at that. Oh, you can get a t-shirt with a giant Chris Gaines face on it. Wow.
Yeah. Imagine going to a Garth Brooks concert and wearing the Chris Gaines. I want to hear the Chris Gaines. When are we going to get to the Chris Gaines hits?
There we go. Well, let's keep moving here. There was also, again, we're just floating through some stuff that was floating through on Twitter there. CNN tweeted, the 5-inch thick Bible features a Celtic cross on the cover and has been in the Biden family since 1893. The president has used it each time he has taken an oath of office. And there's some problems with that Celtic cross, at least people pointing some things out. According to the ADL, Fighting for Good, the Celtic cross is a white supremacist symbol. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Sorry, Biden.
I know. Why aren't we canceling Biden?
Well, we know why.
Well, we do know why, but it's just funny how people dig up this kind of stuff and the hypocrisy of the media. And that's it's no surprise, really, but it's just funny when you lay it out like that. You know, it's people are still asleep, man. But it's okay.
Have you I don't think we have any articles in the plan for this today, but even after the inauguration, there's been a lot of Antifa riots recently.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about that.
Have you been seeing this?
Yeah, I saw the one in Oregon and Washington specifically, I think. There were some people saying, like, we don't want Biden, we want retribution or something like that.
This whole thing, and I've been trying to kind of communicate this for a while, where Antifa doesn't, they're an anti-government organization. They have more in common with Boogaloo Boys than they do, an establishment Democrat. But I don't know. Maybe I'm going to try to look around, see if I can find a quality article that we can get into and do some analyzation here on it while you keep taking us through our stories.
Well, somebody did redirect on Antifa.com to the White House. So it's that 301 redirect.
Yeah, that's
always
fun.
Good. Okay, so some of the things, there were a lot of people saying, like, oh, stuff's going to go down, like the China's taken over, all this kind of stuff, and we're going back to the ways of the neocon and the Obama era stuff with perpetual war, and people were like, no, that's not going to happen. But literally it took
Democrats
no time.
Would never want to keep us in perpetual war.
It took 0 days to get all that stuff up and running. And I mean, I'm talking about everything from the COVID stuff to just everything that you can possibly imagine. Biden is just reversing or, going back to. This is Politico.com. Well, let's start with this one. Politico.com. Okay. Yeah. Let's first go with this. Biden vowed to defeat domestic terrorism. The how is the hard part.
No kidding.
Yeah. In his inauguration address Wednesday, President Joe Biden declared the, quote, rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism, a looming threat the country must confront and defeat. The moment comes more than a year after Biden launched his campaign, decrying a 2017 neo-Nazi and white supremacist march in Charlottesville, Virginia. We know about all that stuff. Let me get to the part where he talks about how he might actually do this. And it gets to the spot here. Let's see. Quote, the more important element is to stop inciting, encouraging, polarizing, and dividing. National security experts say Biden could confront the threat 3 ways. Direct the Justice Department, FBI, and National Security Council to execute a top-down approach prioritizing domestic terrorism, pass new domestic terrorism legislation, or do a bit of both, as Democrats propose a crackdown on social media giants like Facebook or algorithms that promote conspiracy-laden posts. That doesn't sound like a good plan. Some Democrats told Politico they'd like Biden to warn explicitly of a more organized white supremacist threat in some public forums soon after taking office. Quote, it's the elephant in the room that violent extremism is a great threat in this country, that it is based in large part on white supremacists, and that Biden needs to call it out and make it clear that we will not tolerate it, Representative Jackie Speier of California said in an interview. And it just kind of goes on more stuff, but that's the main thing that they want to do there. They want to leverage some of the government, and this is very similar to, and I think we even mentioned that this was going to happen, like the whole post 9/11 Patriot Act, surveillance apparatus, all the excuses to lock down and take away our freedoms. Same exact thing. But this time the boogeyman is white nationalist, domestic terrorist, Christian nationalist, all that stuff. And this is not surprising.
Notice how they don't mention anti-fascists.
No, because...
which is funny. They're kind of in a little bit of a rhetorical pickle right there, because they can say, we need to get rid of these white nationalists. And I think when they say domestic terrorists, they'll have to someday clarify that they're putting Antifa in there, because you can't say we're going to hunt down these anti-fascists.
Yeah.
Because that's what a fascist would say.
Right.
I do have a quick one here from heavy.com. Inauguration Day, anti-fascists burn flags and vandalize in Portland, Seattle, and Denver. Anti-fascist and other far-left groups rioted in multiple American cities on Inauguration Day 2021. In Portland, Oregon, Antifa marchers vandalized the Democratic Party offices, according to police and videographers who were at the scene. Some of the protesters made statements against President Joe Biden, who was sworn into office on January 20th. Anti-fascist protesters in Seattle also vandalized businesses and burned flags, while protesters in Denver burned flags, and a march on Sacramento had few issues, according to reports. Independent journalist Brendan Gutenschwager, who was at the scene in Seattle, wrote, "F Trump, F Biden too. They don't give a F about you," protesters chant hours after today's inauguration in D.C. Quote, "No more cops, no more Proud Boys, no more presidents," read literature for a January 20th demonstration organized by Antifa Sacramento. In some cities, peaceful protests also occurred, sometimes in the same communities, even as others resorted to vandalism, assault, and other criminal behavior. According to Reuters, Portland police arrested 8 people on suspicion of offenses including rioting and reckless burning. The Seattle police arrested 2 people, one for the assault and another for property damage. Here's what we need to know. And then kind of just details more of the specific things: lighting flags on fire, dumpster fires, that kind of stuff.
So what do they want to do?
Well, you haven't heard anything from the Biden administration against these anti-fascists. Of course. Very interesting. Even while they are crying for no presidents and F Biden, these types of things. It's very interesting.
Well, what exactly do they want? Are they just pure anarchist idealists where no presidents, meaning, hey, we just want to rule ourselves to the degree of what are they looking for?
Well, I mean, if you want to get into the structure of anarchist thought, there's a lot of different versions of it, spanning from anarcho-capitalism, which is more of a libertarian idea, to anarcho-syndicalism, which is kind of on the other side, which basically means just going back to smaller tribes, for lack of a better word, that sort of rule themselves. Instead of, it's basically wanting to decentralize the government as much as possible, all the way to full anarchy, which is just, we'll all get along and peaceful and work for each other for free, and we don't need anybody telling us what to do.
Hey, don't tell me what to do.
There's a lot of versions of anarchy. I don't know exactly what, I don't know if there's a official position in the Antifa crowd, but as we've been saying, and many have been saying since the beginning of Antifa stuff, the left is going to have a very difficult time, even if they win the White House, which as of now, they seem to have done. They were able to use that attention and fervor to help their own campaign, but now they're actually going to have to deal with the problem, no matter how much they seem to avoid it from public press releases and things.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this all plays out. I suspect that this is just the underbelly of the New World Order system trying to continue. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And that, they wanted the presidency seat back, in which they, as of now, they've pulled off. But at the same time, they want to continue the chaos. And because the people that aren't going to see this stuff, they're not going to pay attention to it. And they're going to just they'll just keep going. But it's again, I don't know. This type of thing just seems like a totally controlled opposition.
Oh yeah, totally.
Asian provocateur. There's no reason. I don't think there's that many Americans that are out there saying like, "Hey, man,
it's just kids.
Let me
kids
do what I want to do. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Hey, I want to do whatever I want. Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah, but you're telling me what to do. It's just a never-ending logical
Spoken
fallacy.
like a true old man.
Am I starting to sound grumpy? Or
no, that's okay.
And this one was, of course, the other part of it, the foreign stuff here. This is JerusalemPost.com. Baghdad bombing could be the Biden admin's first challenge. How convenient that there was a Baghdad bombing, like the day basically Biden got inaugurated.
Right.
A twin suicide bombing in Baghdad's Tahrir Square, packed with people shopping, left 24 dead on Thursday afternoon in the most deadly attack in more than 18 months. Local reports said, calling past years when suicide bombings like this were routine in Iraq. Islamic State perpetrated many attacks, and while it is not known if this was an ISIS attack, it has its hallmarks. And we got to bring back the ISIS boogeyman too. The whole Obama era. ISIS,
after Trump
ISIL
defeated ISIS in a year. Now that Biden's back,
it's all of a sudden they're just back.
Yeah, right.
No problem. The bombing 4 kilometers from the U.S. Embassy compound occurred in an area which has witnessed several mass protests over the last year and a half. In the fall of 2019, protesters often besieged security forces on Al Jumhuriyah Bridge, not far from the market where the bombings took place. Online video appeared to capture the second of the 2 reported explosions, in which up to 100 were reported wounded near the Bab al-Shariki area of central Baghdad. And let me just see if we can find the spot here where, what Biden is going to do about it. Let's see. Coalition spokesman Colonel Wayne Moroto said that it sends, quote, our condolences to those affected by the attacks in Baghdad today. This is yet another instance of terrorists killing fellow Iraqis and harms those who seek peace. The recently appointed Middle East coordinator for policy under Biden, Brett McGurk, was a former envoy for the U.S.-led coalition against ISIS, an expert on Iraq. He will take a keen interest in addressing the issues in the wake of the bombing. There were other tensions as well. On January 11th, pro-Iranian groups claimed a mysterious airstrike targeted their weapons warehouse at Jerf al-Shakur, 40 miles outside Baghdad. So just more Middle East chaos. It is pretty wild. I mean, is it just that we didn't hear about it in the West here because of Trump? Or is it just that because now Biden's back in office, we can spin up all of the Middle East terrorist talk again?
Yeah, well, it's no surprise, and it's interesting too when you consider CIA-led operations.
Yeah.
ISIS being, documentedly being one of them.
Right.
Maybe not led, but equipped and created. There's some interesting connections with Antifa also having CIA support.
Yeah. That's true. Very similar.
Yeah.
In the radicalization methodologies and access to resources.
Right.
Very
similar.
Most of these groups can't really pull off what they're doing without the assistance of government, like at least rogue government.
Well, destabilizing. The resources for destabilization.
Right.
So yeah, it's very interesting. Of course, one feather that definitely was in Trump's cap had pretty much entirely squashed ISIS. I'm not sure if any, but in that, whereas ISIS was pretty much allowed basically free reign during the Obama administration. So yeah, maybe Biden getting back in office has signaled that they can start causing trouble again.
Yeah, no surprises there. And just continuing on here, rollcall.com. Biden uses executive order to address COVID-19, other health care issues. And this was, we'll get to more of the COVID stuff and the reversal and all kinds of stuff from the World Health Organization.
A lot of told you so's.
Yeah, definitely. It says here, President Joe Biden's extensive use of executive orders Wednesday to jumpstart his presidency and his plans to sign several more this month demonstrate his desire to act swiftly without waiting for congressional approval on issues such as COVID-19. Experts expect him to continue to leverage executive power to advance his healthcare agenda. The early wave of executive actions suggests he'll try to quickly reverse current policies from the Trump administration and outline his own priorities as the United States approaches the grim milestone projected as soon as next month, 500,000 COVID-19 deaths.
Oh my gosh.
I think he did the
More
mask.
people continue to die of COVID, even with Biden in the presidency. Imagine that.
Well, I don't know that this article really, I mean, he did sign the mask order, the 100-day mask challenge or whatever, and then the whole Biden family was seen taking photo op pictures walking around.
Yeah, on federal property. So Biden can't actually require mandatory maskings.
That's why it's a challenge.
States. He can only, right. That's why he made it a TikTok challenge. He can only mandate mask wearing on federal property. And then, of course, after he did that, he was seen on federal property in many different places not wearing a mask.
Have you seen the new press secretary try to answer the questions about that?
You know, I have not actually watched a video of it. No.
Okay, I think I have. Maybe if I can pull it up here, because I did see it. And man, talk about politics. She just kind of wiggled around, did not answer the question. But it's a pretty direct question.
I heard there was some frustration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a legit question. You know, it was more of a straight up like, hey, how come Biden was seen not wearing a mask? And her answer was
Do you have a clip?
I'm trying to find it real quick here.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good clip to share. Guess I should have been a little bit more prepared about it, but maybe this is it here. Yeah, I think this might be it. This is only 12 seconds. We'll see if this summarizes it. It could be off here. Let's give it a try. The question is, President Biden did not wear a mask on federal land after signing an executive order mandating it because he was celebrating, according to the White House press secretary. She also referred to Peter Ducey as Steve, his father's name, twice. Okay, All right. This is her.
Well, go ahead.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
She looks so irritated.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, it doesn't give the answer. That doesn't help. That clip doesn't help because it doesn't show her answering the question. But that was the question, which I thought was a good question.
Yeah, well, that's been the question. Is the press pool going to be as hard on the Biden press secretary as
if he signed?
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
On the Trump press secretaries, of which there were many, and people are not expecting that to be the case. But I have a feeling at the beginning here, they're at least going to try to ask the hard questions to prove that they can be objective.
Let's see what she says. Maybe this one.
At the inaugural
Lincoln Memorial, yes.
I think, Steve, he was celebrating an evening of a historic day in our country, and certainly he signed the mask mandate because it's a way to send a message to the American public about the importance of wearing masks, how it can save tens of thousands of lives. We take a number of COVID precautions, as you know, here in terms of testing, social distancing, mask wearing ourselves, as we do every single day. But I don't know that I have more for you on it than that.
But as Joe Biden often talks about, it is not just important the example of power, but the power of our example. Was that a good example for people who are watching who might not pay attention normally?
Well, Steve, I think the power of his example is also the message he sends by signing 25 executive orders, including almost half of them related to COVID. The requirements that we're all under every single day here to ensure we're sending that message to the public. Yesterday was a historic moment in our history. He was inaugurated as president of the United States. He was surrounded by his family. We take a number of precautions, but I think we have bigger issues to worry about at this moment.
Talk about,
oh my God.
That's like Neo dodging bullets, you know?
Yeah.
Just bending back, those bullets coming through.
First of all, her answer was, do as he says, not as he does.
Exactly.
And also, he was celebrating.
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing a mask because he was celebrating. Stop asking these questions, Steve, which is not his name.
Which is not his name. Very bizarre thing here.
Steve, please don't call me Steve. That's literally my dad's name.
I saw other clips from Jen. I think her name is Saki. I don't know how to pronounce this.
I don't know.
Saki. We have listeners. We have producers who always get mad at us for mispronouncing things, but she has a lot of, and we do that. You and I do it too. We do the ums, and I know it can get annoying. But coming from the press secretary, it sometimes is difficult to sit through. But in any case, that's just my own personal criticism. Apart from,
did you have a clip, or you're just saying?
Just in general, if you listen to some of her clips.
Yeah, well, she's new. That was her first or second time doing it.
Yeah.
You know, the fun thing that'll be great for this show is that they made a big deal about how the Biden administration is going to continue the weekday briefings every day, which they had to stop doing with Trump because it was just
short of throwing tomatoes at the stage, basically.
Right. Yeah. Nothing good was happening. So yeah, that'll be good. We should have clips every day of the week from this
Jen
woman.
Psaki. Next,
I got something here going on the first day of Biden's presidency here. This is coming from the Epoch Times, and we knew this was coming, and so it has. Articles of impeachment filed against Biden by GOP Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
The Q lady, right?
Yes, this is the Q lady who got elected to Senate recently. Newly elected Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia, on January 21st announced she has introduced articles of impeachment against the president, Joe Biden. The articles of impeachment concern Biden's alleged actions involving a quid pro quo deal in Ukraine and alleged abuse of power, quote, by allowing his son, Hunter Biden, to siphon off cash from America's greatest enemies, Russia and China. Greene's office announced in a statement just a day after Biden was sworn in as the 46th U.S. president. The move comes less than a month into Greene's first term in Congress. Democrats control both the House and the Senate, so it is unlikely that the attempt to impeach Biden, a Democrat, will succeed. Quote, President Joe Biden is unfit to hold the office of the presidency, Greene said in a statement. Quote continues, his pattern of abuse of power as President Obama's vice president is lengthy and disturbing. President Biden has demonstrated that he will do whatever it takes to bail out his son Hunter and line his family's pockets with cash from corrupt foreign energy companies. She added, quote, President Biden is even on tape admitting to a quid pro quo with the Ukrainian government, threatening to withhold $1 billion in foreign aid if they did not do his bidding. President Biden residing in the White House is a threat to national security, and he must be immediately impeached. The White House didn't immediately respond to a request for comment from the Epoch Times. No kidding. And then they review that clip, which we've played on the show here. It says, at an event in 2018, Biden said that in 2016, he had threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid from Ukraine unless then President Petro Poroshenko fired Viktor Shokin. Shokin at the time was investigating Burisma, an energy company in Ukraine for which Hunter was a board member from 2014 to at least 2018. Biden in 2016 was responsible for overseeing overseeing anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine. Quote, I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting any money, Biden recounted at an event at the Council on Foreign Relations in 2018. Quote, well, son of an expletive, he got fired.
Son of a bee sting.
Oh, good one. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time, etc., etc. And the article goes on and on and on. But there you go. On the first day, we have articles of impeachment, as Marjorie Taylor Greene promised.
You know, this happens both directions in politics, Republican and Democrat. So much of it is like political virtue signaling. You know, this isn't going to do anything. She'll earn points with her base.
Oh, that's all it is. It's a political move for her to, I'm sure as she was campaigning, this was, if not explicitly said, sort of implied. And this is the beautiful thing about American politics. You get points for doing nothing, but, she's standing her ground for the Q people and people like her. I would say a lot of Trump people are happy about this as well.
Yeah, and it's not the only thing that happened as soon as President Biden was inaugurated.
Ooh.
Over in Arizona, the state of Arizona. A document came out, statement from Senate President Fan on agreement with Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, quote, this is like an official document. I'm pleased to announce that after a hard-fought battle to seek information on behalf of Arizona voters regarding the integrity of the 2020 elections, we have reached a favorable agreement with the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Not only has the board agreed to turn over all the relevant information we sought in our subpoenas so that we may perform an audit, but they also acknowledged that the legislature is a sovereign power of the state and that the county is a political subdivision, and as such, the legislature has the constitutional and statutory authority to issue subpoenas. Chairman Jack Sellers was instrumental in facilitating this agreement, and I appreciate his efforts. I look forward to continuing our work to restore integrity and faith in our election process. So, stuff that they couldn't get done prior to the inauguration, all of a sudden, oh yeah, we'll give you some of the information.
Yeah. So what? They're agreeing to
have their some of their or number one, to issue subpoena, and then also to look at some of the evidence, I guess. But I mean, it's almost I don't know if this is gonna. It could be a longer play in the hope for a more integral elections in 2024, or maybe the midterm elections. But I mean, it's just interesting how it all kind of comes out the day of the same day that he's inaugurated. It's like, oh, okay, well, all right, finally it's official now. Nothing crazy happened, so we can go ahead and give them all the information so they can audit the elections.
Yeah. Well, so the plan can continue, and the Corporation of America can get handed over to Biden, and the real America, Trump, can take over.
Have you
been following the current Q stuff?
That is the basic summary of what the narrative is now, correct?
Does that ring a bell to you at all, Gons? Have you heard this before? So it was back. It was way back when we first started Canary Cry Radio.
Yeah.
Canary Cry Radio, our other show, interview style. Go check it out. I mean, this Corporation of America storyline, as well as the real America and the things like that. I mean, this is a storyline that's getting replayed from about a decade ago.
Yeah. No, I do remember talking about this. I don't remember the exact episode, but we certainly, we had a guest, I thought, that was talking about this exact issue about, corporate America and how there's separate.
Yeah. So and it all stems from the 1871 thing where, the country became I believe it was 1871, where the country became a corporation, a legal entity, and the real nation state of America was kind of put to the side, and they changed the Constitution, and this is where birth certificates and social security numbers came in. And then, it's been played a couple times where whoever the president is at the time became the president of the corporation, but really there's the country, and you can say that you're the yada, 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 rip up your birth certificate and your social security. This whole storyline, this is not a new thing. And now Lin Wood and others like him are coming out and crafting this storyline about how Biden is the president of the corporation, USA Inc., and that's why the walls were built around the White House, because Washington D.C. is foreign land. And Trump.
Did you see the pictures of the comparisons between the Trump what is it? The Trump president's oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on the name. I'm trying to do like a couple things at once here. The wallpaper in the main office there compared to Biden. And saying that, how did he change the wallpaper so quickly, and like the background image in the window? You didn't see any of that stuff?
No, I didn't see wallpaper stuff.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm sorry. Do you have a
the point that was being made was that this is all staged. That Biden is not really in the actual White House. Right. He's in some studio pretending to be president.
Everybody's in a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the current storyline. Something is supposed to happen on the January 25th. So we'll see.
Oh, we have another date, huh?
Yes. Well, we've got two dates. I don't have it right in front of me. Something is happening on the 25th, and then something else is happening on March 4th. Apparently, March 4th is when Trump will become president again. So There we go. We've got some dates to look forward to.
Oh, boy.
But it is a little concerning because, in this era, a lot more people have sort of woken up to a lot of things, probably specifically because of Q. And I just don't think a lot of people were in the space the last time this exact same storyline was floating around. This is a recycled storyline. And so I don't know, man. I'm just throwing it out there for those of you who might be paying attention to this and think that this is the thing that's going to happen. I don't know. There's dates set. We'll see. I'll be happy. I'll be the first one to say that I am wrong. But we'll just see. It's just, it was even more suspicious that it literally is just recycling a storyline from about a decade ago.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the actual interview where we discuss some of these issues, but I'm having a hard time nailing it down.
Yeah. And it's continuing to move the goalposts. Again, when it comes to Lin Wood, General Flynn, a lot of these guys, if you compare it to the Operation Truth, which was the Bolshevik Soviet Russian version of Q, the Q PSYOP, rather, if Q is indeed a PSYOP, it mirrors Operation Truth. You can look that up. And it very specifically put former leaders in power in this revolutionary Operation Truth movement to spread disinformation and have anti-Bolsheviks reveal themselves, which is pretty much, so far, that's the only thing that has come from the Q phenomenon, if you will. So just so everybody knows, we are aware of the current storyline, and luckily we'll be able to see if it came true. Let's see, on Monday's show. January has been filled with perfect show days. We had a show on the Insurrection Day. We had a show on Impeachment Day. We had a show on Inauguration Day. We had a show on Gonza's birthday. We'll have a show on whatever's supposed to happen on the 25th, and we'll just keep everybody posted.
There's somebody in the Twitch chat that asked, is this channel right or left?
That is a great question.
Great question. Keep listening.
For those who are new, we shoot to be as apolitical as possible, and it's just it's mostly doing media analysis. So it's kind of whatever the media is doing at the moment. We are anti that.
Well,
okay.
There's some Trump stuff too.
We will launch
good.
New Age.
The New Age is getting shut, or at least the New Age Bank is getting shut down. TheHill.com. Florida Bank says it has closed Trump's accounts.
Oh,
this is pretty crazy, man.
Whoa, what accounts?
A Florida bank announced Thursday that it has closed down former President Trump's account, joining a growing list of entities that have cut ties with the former president following the deadly January 6th Capitol riot. Man, they just really use that as an excuse for everything. In his financial disclosures, Trump had stated he had 2 money market accounts with Banks United, the Washington Post reports. The accounts held somewhere between $5.1 and $25.2 million. That's
quite a spread.
Big range. Quote, we no longer have any depository relationship with him, said Banks United, without giving reasons for its decision to shutter the accounts. I thought the reason was that because of the whole riot thing. You just said it. Another Florida bank, Professional Bank, last week announced that it would be cutting ties with Trump, saying it would no longer conduct business with the former president or his organizations. Signature Bank in New York and Deutsche Bank have also said they will no longer be conducting future business with Trump. Signature Bank notably took a strong stance against Trump and his allies in Congress, calling for him to resign and saying it would not conduct business with lawmakers who had objected to certifying the presidential election. Deutsche Bank is seeking to resolve more than $300 million in loans, reportedly looking to offload the loans onto another lender due to the negative press their dealings with Trump has caused. I'm sure Deutsche Bank's negative dealings only had to do with the Trump presidency and not years and years of money laundering and just financial hanky-panky that's been going on in the background. Man, they just use this guy as a scapegoat for everything.
Yeah, right. They're really, if they're just happy that somebody could make them look good for a second, make them look like the victims.
Yeah.
But it is funny because as you go through some of Trump's previous business dealings, he has really, he is really, I'm trying to figure out a word to make this nice, but he has taken advantage of Deutsche Bank's willingness to do business with him quite a few times. You know, he's kind of famous for not paying people who he's supposed to pay. Most recently noted was Rudy Giuliani. He owes him $2 million in legal fees that is currently unpaid. But Deutsche Bank has repeatedly been taken advantage of by Trump. So I'm surprised. I think they're just taking this opportunity to finally get back at him.
This could be a great double cross conspiracy collusion with Trump, you know? Rudy Giuliani's like, where's my money? And Trump's like, I don't know, the Deutsche Bank, they're not giving it back. I don't know where the money is.
Yeah, blame it on Deutsche Bank.
Deutsche Bank's relationship with the Trump organization is under a civil investigation by New York Attorney General Letitia James. James is investigating claims made by Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, that he had inflated the value of his assets and financial statements. Though the investigation is civil, James has said criminal charges may arise if anything suggesting criminality is discovered during her probe. Hold on, let me look up Letitia James. I'm just curious because I thought that this was... Okay, never mind. Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance is also conducting an investigation into whether or not Trump misrepresented the value of his assets in order to receive larger tax deductions. Vance recently expanded his investigation to include the Trump family's Westchester County estate, a historic mansion called Seven Springs, built by former Washington Post publisher Eugene Meyer. So there you go, a bunch of banks just saying no more with Trump. And you know what might help Trump? in this situation. There's a little bit of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin go to moon.
I mean, seriously though, if he wants to continue giving money to people or moving money wherever he wants to on his own terms,
no
Bitcoin
way.
would be.
They're not going to let him do that.
I know they're not, but in principle,
he's old school, man.
I know he's old school.
He's a debt fiend.
I know he
loves
school
it.
Debt fiend, truckloads of cash and gold bars and all that. But
speaking of debt fiend, they are so part of that Q narrative that I was telling you was that Trump filed bankruptcy for the USA Incorporated and then put. And so then Joe Biden became president of a bankrupt corporation.
So I have a question for those folks.
Which fits well into the Trump ethos. You know? He uses bankruptcy as a very effective tool.
Yeah. So where I understand the narrative, okay, but where are these folks getting their hard evidence for this? Like, what is the hard evidence?
Nowhere.
They don't have
there's
one
no hard evidence.
There's not one piece of document that's floating out there, or something someone said, or is it just all
no? Well, it's the same stuff. It's okay. Linwood has secret, sources that are giving him all the information, and it's the same Q thing. It's Q. There is no documents. There's no sources. It's all cryptic information getting passed along. Of formerly or currently powerful people being trickled down into the masses. And again, with the Linwood thing, I just want to say this for those who are, putting Linwood up on this pedestal, and because that's the only thing I recently, and I shouldn't have done it. I got into a little comment tiff with somebody on social media, and I'm pretty good. I know, I'm pretty good at not doing this, but it happened. And, yeah, the evidence is screenshots of Linwood. That's what it is. And videos of other people screenshotting Linwood. It's all Linwood and other anonymous sources. And it's like, Linwood is a lawyer. His most notable thing was, I think he defended the parents in the John Benet Ramsey case. And at least in America, folks, remember the days when the whole joke about lawyers is that they were self-serving and willing to lie and will say anything to win a case and get notoriety for themselves. And money. Remember that? Remember all those lawyer jokes and how you can't trust lawyers and all that stuff? We're in this weird new age, Gons, where suddenly anything the lawyer says must be true. And it's just wild. It's completely baffling to me. Well, we continue to live in upside down clown world.
Yeah, well, Linwood's not the only one. Simon Parks is getting a lot of play as well. And I have this screenshot.
Yes, Simon Parks.
I have this screenshot from God Save America, and I think this is on Gab. They posted on January 20th, 2021, a day which will live in infamy, but I am trusting Q and SimonParks.org.
Oh, good.
And I pray that the arrests start today. There's a picture of Simon Parks and a giant heart on a globe, but also over Europe or something, connecting consciousness.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So
yes, continuing the new age garnish on the Q conspiracy.
And
theories.
I actually did tweet out a screenshot of a guy. I don't know if it was a guy or a girl that was on the YouTube channel, Face Like the Sun channel, commenting on the last episode. And it's interesting because they posted like 6 or 7 comments in a row, maybe even more than that. I think I have it here. Yeah. And, my whole take was like, hey, let's pray for these folks, because you watch the comments go and it just gets more and more unhinged.
Yeah.
And, the first one, Trump resigned from and dissolved the corporation of the U.S. under bankruptcy. This is basically what your outline there. Biden is president over a non-existent corporation. And then deep fake about the whole inauguration. This is the beginning of the Q info to start revealing, and you're setting up your people to dismiss it. You guys are clearly controlled op, like you and I, Basil, were controlled op.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that's the take there. And then, but also the Bible is a psyop if you look at it closely. So there's also
there
that.
it is.
And then by the end, it was so basically I need to kill myself for this hell to go away. I've gone insane through reality. The hurt is beyond hurt. Why are you doing this to me? Like as if we're doing it to them. I mean, it's just, if this is a real person, this Aaron Notes person leaving all these comments, it's just one of those things. We got to pray for these folks to just kind of chillax, relax, step away from the Q thing. You know, there's realities with the stuff that Q has exposed, but the short-term date setting, connecting consciousness, new age, all the stuff is a little much.
I also want to be clear. Look, I have no pride wrapped up in Q being real or not real, or if any of this happening or not happening. If suddenly all the Q stuff comes true and all this stuff happens, I will be the first to admit that I was wrong. I am happy to say that I was wrong. It will be so entertaining. It'll be great for the show. It'll be a lot of great material if all this stuff goes down. I will be humbled and humbly humbled if all this happens. I have no pride wrapped up in this being true or not true. I'm just being honest. I mean, it's the current storyline is a recycled storyline. We've been doing this work for a long time, Gons, and we finally hit this point in the conspiracy cycle where this is coming back around. And maybe it is. Maybe it's sort of history repeating itself. I don't know. I don't think so. But yes, if all this goes down, man, Q people, come listen to the show so you can hear me apologize.
Yeah, well, as we know, scripturally, there's nothing new under the sun. So there isn't really any new methodology to all of this, whether it be on one side or the other. But a lot of it is just a psyop.
Psyops.
Psychological game for people to stay on their phones and keep watching their screens and be riled up about stuff. And I think you and I are both guilty of that. Like I've been pulled into stuff and like, oh shoot, what's going down? Like, oh, it's happening.
Oh, it was always very fascinating to follow the Q thing.
Yeah.
And here's what I don't want to, I know maybe to some Q people who are having a bit of a hard time right now with things not going the way that you expected. But we really do, we understand the thought process, and we understand the alternative view from the mainstream stories, and we understand the feeling of sort of having that kind of worldview or information that doesn't seem to be being spread around and makes a ton of sense at the moment. But the difference is with the Q stuff is just that there's just nothing solid to go off of.
Yeah.
And you can't, and people are putting a lot of emotional investment into Q stuff being real. And the problem is the investments aren't coming back to return any profits. And it's, like any investment, if any investment if Bitcoin went down to zero, I would be very sad. And that's kind of a similar situation that the Q people are going in are experiencing right now. And who knows, maybe it'll bounce back much like Bitcoin does every time. But if you're out there, I would plead to all the people who maybe never had a good feeling about Q or never bought it. I would say everybody make sure to, have some grace and be cool. We don't need to gloat or anything. We don't win a prize for not having believed in Q. But it's just an opportunity to let those people know that, it's okay. Our faith in Q came back void, but, our faith in Christ and our belief that, that ultimately God is in control of the situation. That's the types of conversations to have with people who got wrapped up in that. Not that they're stupid or something.
Hallelujah.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can move on if you want.
Let's do it. I had a couple more things to say, but I think we get the point here.
Yep.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
Lots of 666 updates here. This is freepressjournal.in in India. Maharashtra. 68% of targeted recipients get COVID-19 vaccines. If you scroll down here, Mumbai City, 666 persons received the first dose of the vaccine, while 1,062 persons were inoculated in suburbs, the release said. So, 666 people in Mumbai
perfect.
Getting
what
the
a
vaccine.
Perfect number.
Perfect number. There's more. This is thestreet.com. Jim Cramer. Eli Lilly hasn't received attention it deserves. Eli Lilly said the trial of the drug bamlanivimab. Oh man, this is the one that Dr. Drew was talking about that works. Bamlanivimab. Bamlanivimab. That is very hard to say. Bamlanivimab. It's I think it's the in-home version of not hydroxychloroquine, but the other one that was starts with a V. Totally blanking right now.
Oh, that's a drug name?
It's a drug name.
Bamlanivimab.
Yeah. Boy, I am totally blanking on the name of that.
That's a bad name for a
drug. It is a horrible name for it. It's
Remdesivir?
Remdesivir, thank you. Yeah, that's like the in-home version of Remdesivir. Okay, so Eli Lilly said the trial of the drug blam involved 965 participants, 299 nursing home residents, and 666 staff members who tested negative for the coronavirus. Perfect number. And one more here of 666. 666. Dailyvoice.com. Shots fired brings SWAT presence to Newark home.
Whoa.
First responders were called to 666 Irvine Turner Boulevard after a man fired a gun. Newark Public Safety Director Anthony Ambrose said. So a lot of 666 in the in stories this last couple days here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to do one UFO alien sighting update here.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified. You don't know what you're looking at.
Uh-oh.
Aliens. It's unidentified.
Ooh,
I forgot that was as long as it was. I remember cutting it down shorter, but oh well. International Business Times. Triangular UFO appears in New York again. Baffled eyewitnesses suspect alien visit.
Ooh.
And this was, it says here, the United States is widely considered as a UFO hotbed, and the country has been witnessing several unidentified flying object sightings since the infamous Roswell incident. The UFO sighting in the country increased dramatically, or as UFO sightings increased dramatically in the country, the Pentagon even launched a secretive investigation program called AATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. We've covered some of that. But there was some footage of what people thought it was a TR-3B. And have you seen this footage? It's pretty interesting.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I'm going to not have the sound here. But there's a little intro tag here. This is in the East Tremont, New York area where this was taken. And you clearly see 3 lights moving in unison.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, classic TR-3B-ish type of sighting, or some kind of, interlocking of the three separate orbs kind of thing.
Yeah, the Dorito.
Yeah, the flying Dorito.
Yeah.
I know over the years people have seen this triangular formation, and people have even seen like hardware associated with it, or some kind of weird like liquid-ish type of substance on the surface. Like this is supposedly more nuts and bolts than it is some kind of interdimensional craft. At least what people have reported on when they see the triangular shape.
It's interesting now with how far drone technology has come, even just, commercially available drones. It's a little harder to get too excited about low flying lights in the sky like that, because now they can program swarms of drones to work, do dances in the sky and form larger objects and things like that. Now, the thing about this is this refers back to a lot of very classic UFO sightings. So this type of sighting has been around long before drones. But I could see how this would be a little bit easier to dismiss now for people. Ooh, there's a fourth light.
Yeah, this one has 4 and there's like one moving around. And yeah, and if you haven't seen some of the drone choreography,
yes, that's the word I was looking for.
It's pretty compelling.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. Yeah. So now this is like, come on, UFO guys.
Yeah.
Pick up the pace.
It's interesting that lights in the sky are just not going to cut it anymore.
It really isn't. That is true.
Yeah.
If they're going to have a disclosure, they're going to have to step up their game. Maybe some laser beams or something. And even then, unless it's blowing up a building or something, it's not going to get anyone's attention.
Right. I don't think, we're going to need to see some video of some reptilians or grays.
I mean,
that's the next thing.
If you think about it though, think about what we just said in context to just even 10 years ago. We're at this point now where lights in the sky are like, could be drones. I mean, they have desensitized us to the point where we literally need, like Soros to turn into like a reptilian and be like, we were here all along, blah, 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 for us to be like, oh, it's true.
Speaking of which, maybe I actually had somebody send me something. Let me see. One of my buddies, and maybe we can do a quick Google search. I meant to search for it before the show. Ex-Canadian defense minister corroborated that aliens are here. 80 some odd species, and some look just like humans, just taller and more blonde. Is that something that rings a bell? Is that new or is that old?
I don't think it's new, but
did you find it?
I did find it. Looks like this was from 2013.
Ah, yeah, okay. It sounded familiar.
Yeah, that's the problem with well, it's not a problem per se, but when people discover things and they go down some kind of rabbit trail and they're like,
we do it all the time.
Oh, check this out. And then it was like, this was published 8 years ago or something.
Yeah, we'll get an hour into research and realize that it's been around for a decade.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, let's see here. Let's talk about China for a little bit.
Welcome to Chinese News! Artificial intelligence.
This is a very disturbing article, by the way.
Yeah, the AI one?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, this is coming from Wired.com. This Chinese lab is aiming for big AI breakthroughs. Dun, dun, dun. In a low-rise building overlooking a busy intersection in Beijing, Zhi Rongwen, a middle-aged scientist with thin-rimmed glasses and a mop of black hair, excitedly describes a project that could advance one of the hottest areas of artificial intelligence. One of the hottest areas. Machine learning, living in the age of AI, examines the extraordinary ways in which people are interacting with AI today. Hobbyists and teenagers are now developing tech powered by machine learning, and Wired shows the what are you?
What?
This headline, where is it? It's gone. The article is gone.
I don't know. The AI didn't like you reading it. I have it here.
Oh, no. Do you have it?
Yeah, I'll read it until you find it. So it says here.
The whole article is gone. What has happened?
Wen, the W-E-N-G, wrong Wen, leads a team at the Beijing Academy of Artificial Intelligence, BAI, B-A-A-I, a government-sponsored research lab that's testing a powerful new language algorithm, something similar to GPT-3, a program revealed in June by researchers at OpenAI that digests large amounts of text and can generate remarkably coherent, free-flowing language. Like Q, maybe? Mm-hmm. This is a big project, Wen says, with a big grin. That doesn't sound like a villain at all. It takes a lot of computing infrastructure and money. when a professor at Renmin University in Beijing, recruited to work part-time at Bai, hopes to create an algorithm that is even cleverer than the GPT-3. He plans to combine machine learning with databases of facts and to feed the algorithm images and videos as well as text in hopes of creating a richer understanding of the physical world. That the words cat and fur don't just often appear in the same sentence, but are associated with one another visually. Other top AI labs, including OpenAI, are doing similar work. One thing that drew Wen to Bai is its impressive computational resources. Quote, the Bai has received stellar support from the government and has strong data and computing power, he says. Language Model is one of many Bai projects aimed at fundamental advances in AI, reflecting a new era for Chinese technology. Despite considerable hype and hand-wringing over China's technological ascent, the country has so far primarily excelled at taking innovations from elsewhere and deploying them in new ways, like stealing all the knowledge from America and applying it to their own government and totalitarian system. This is particularly evident in AI, an area Chinese leaders consider crucial in their aspirations of becoming a true superpower. Some breakthroughs at Bai could benefit the government directly. Wen says his language system could serve as an intelligent assistant to help citizens perform civic tasks online, like obtaining a visa, a driver's license, or a business permit. Instead of spending days filling out paperwork and waiting in line, as is the norm, a clever helper could guide citizens through the red tape. Zhang Liang Liu, project lead for the effort and previously an engineer at Baidu, China's top web search company, says his team has built a prototype for Beijing's Department of Motor Vehicles. Quote, it is a really tough challenge, he says. This is a highlighted paragraph. For those of you listening or watching, the government might, of course, benefit in other ways. More sophisticated AI language systems could prove useful for scanning social media for questionable comments or for scouring phone call transcripts. The Chinese state has embraced AI as a tool of governance, including for censorship and surveillance, particularly of Muslims in western Xinjiang province. There's no evidence of Bai's work feeding into policing or intelligence, but it is being released openly for anyone to commercialize or apply. At the same time, officials are wary about the potential for AI to erode the power of the state. Several projects at the Institute aims to set guardrails for commercial use of AI to head off ethical challenges and curb the power of big tech companies. Quote, the Chinese government's trying to get on top of this to make sure that they're properly in control. And I think that's actually not proving altogether straightforward, says Nigel Inkster, author of The Great Decoupling, a recent book about the fracturing relationship between China and America. The government made its AI ambitions clear in a sweeping plan released in 2017. It set AI researchers the goal of making, quote, fundamental breakthroughs by 2025, and called for the country to be, quote, the world's primary innovation center by 2030. Woo! Bai opened Bai opened a year later in Zhongguancun, a neighborhood of Beijing designed to replicate U.S. innovation hubs such as Boston and Silicon Valley. It is home to a few big tech companies modeled on Western successes like the PC maker Lenovo and the search engine Sogo, as well as countless cheap electronic stores. Blah, blah, blah. Move into a new building. Pandemic has interrupted visits to China. WeChat. One group at Bai is exploring the mathematical principles underpinning machine learning algorithms, an endeavor that may help improve upon them. Another group is focused on drawing insights from neuroscience to build better AI programs. And, cue jingle.
Better, bigger, tastier.
The most celebrated machine learning approach today, deep learning, is loosely inspired by the way neurons and synapses in the brain learn from input. A better understanding of the biological processes behind animal and human cognition could lead to a new generation of smarter machines. A third group at the Academy is focused on designing and developing microchips to run AI applications more efficiently. Many bi-affiliated researchers are doing cutting-edge work. One works on ways to make deep learning algorithms more efficient and compact. Another studies neuromorphic computer chips that can fundamentally change the way computers work by mirroring biological processes. And we've been talking about that stuff for years and years and years. Taejung Hwang, director of BI, speaks carefully after a long pause to collect and translate his thoughts. He says the center is modeled in Western institutions that bring together different disciplines to advance AI. Despite difficult U.S.-China relations, he says, it is crucial for the Academy to build ties with such institutions. It has sent researchers to visit Mila in Canada and the Turing Institute in the UK, two of the world's top centers of AI expertise. AI scientists from U.S. institutions, including Princeton and UC Berkeley, serve on the Academy's advisory committee. The Chinese government is not alone in investing in AI. The U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, backs research with potential military uses, yet many in the West are wary of how the Chinese state could use technology to further its interests and values, for example, tying digital technologies to the Belt and Road Initiative, which builds economic and infrastructure links to neighboring countries. With clear ties to the Chinese government, it isn't hard to see a broader agenda in Bai's work. Is there anything else that towards the end of the article, it talks about the private sector and how, I'll just read this paragraph here. Some students in China believe the Chinese Communist Party is in fact wrestling with the ethical implications of AI algorithms, at least those used by private industry, just as Western governments are. But later on, the Chinese government is preparing a major new privacy law that will limit what data companies can collect and use, but also reinforces the state's access to data for law enforcement and surveillance. So, I mean, China, it's already a surveillance state in China, like a pretty bad one, probably the worst in the world.
Sure.
And they're just like, yeah, we're up in our game. And just really, really pushing for the next level of this like Borg hive mind they're trying to create. And so I found this whole article fairly disturbing in all of its implications with the advancement of what they're trying to do, what they're saying they're going to do, and the private sector being like, "Hey, are you sure about this? We're going to be so awesome if we can do all this," and the government stepping in and being like, government's still in control here. Don't get too carried away there, private companies that are under our thumb. So, that's the thing with China. We talk about the CCP and stuff and the troublesome concept of the communist regime there and how they've leveraged technology to spy on their citizens and how it's very much like America, but it's not it's more in the open. They're like open about it. They're like, yeah, we're doing that. And if you don't comply, then, to jail you go or to concentration camps you go. In America, it's less obvious. The Snowden stuff exposed it and whatnot, but I feel like as they move down further and further the road towards totalitarian scientific dictatorship, digital virtual panopticon, it's going to seem less and less invasive for us, to be where China is, where China was maybe 5 years ago, in a few years for us being like, well, of course we have to have the AI surveilling stuff because of the white supremacists. Don't you realize we have to control the bad people? And so, I don't know. There's not much more to say about it from my end. Did you have any thoughts on this and how?
No, I mean, I think you covered it. And, especially when it comes to surveillance in America, it's mainly political ideology that's going to become the target.
Right.
We've seen and heard, we might want to steal that supercuts from who did it? It may have been No Agenda or somebody. They had a supercut of all the left-leaning influencers and thought leaders and politicians talking about how conservatives will need to be re-educated. And put in re-education camps and how
absurd.
We have to take children away from Trump supporters and re-educate them, et cetera, and which is a really disturbing trend going on along with, of course, a lot of other really disturbing trends. And we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, no, that would be how it would materialized in the United States, as it's already materialized in the United States. Like, that's not even new.
No.
That basically is happening. It's just a matter of, the steps after that, where in China, it literally sends people to concentration camps or re-education camps. Speaking of which, I have a story about just that. May I bring it up? I popped some links. You got the new links? Yep. Okay. I'm going to first bring this from CNN.com, just because it's always fun to see how they talk about this kind of stuff. This is from CNN. The headline is, China says it is a victim after Twitter locks embassy account.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're finally locking somebody else's account besides conservatives. It says here, China says that it is a victim of misinformation after Twitter restricted the account of the Chinese embassy in the United States. The retort comes after Twitter temporarily locked the account of the Chinese embassy over a tweet it posted defending Beijing's treatment of Uyghurs. For those who need a refresher, the Uyghurs are a religious minority Muslim group in China who have been undergoing some pretty severe persecution. There are huge concentration camps and prisons where the Uyghurs are put to work. They also harvest their hair for wigs and harvest their organs and things like this. The post, which was made earlier this month, claimed that Uyghur women in Xinjiang are no longer, quote, baby-making machines. Yikes. Quote, in the process of eradicating extremism, the minds of Uyghur women in Xinjiang were emancipated and gender equality and reproductive health were promoted. Now, isn't that funny how in the name of gender equality and reproductive health, they put these women in a prison and work camps and forced them to work in factories and shave their head and sold their hair for gender equality and reproductive health. The tweet read, citing a report from the state-run newspaper China Daily. At a regular briefing on Beijing on Thursday, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson defended the embassy's actions. Quote, China is a major victim.
Blech.
As a major victim, there are many false and ugly pieces of information about China on Xinjiang-related issues. Of course, the Chinese embassy in the U.S. has responsibilities and obligations to clarify the facts and explain the truth. Oh, please, dear leader, explain the truth. Hua Junying argued, hitting back at Twitter's restrictive measures. Quote, we hope Twitter can uphold the principles of objectivity and impartiality, not to show double standards on this issue.
Oh.
Double standards, but to strengthen screening and identify what is false information, what are rumors and lies, and what is fact and truth. China's far western Xinjiang region has long been associated with reports of the forced sterilization of people from the Uyghur minority, a predominantly Muslim ethnic group residing in the area. Chinese officials have denied the allegations. The United States has officially determined that China is committing genocide. Oh, officially determined. I did not know that was made official, so that's good. The United States has officially determined that China is committing genocide and crimes against humanity against Uyghur Muslims and ethnic and religious minority groups who live in Xinjiang. Quote, this genocide is ongoing, and we are witnessing the systematic attempt to destroy Uyghurs by the Chinese party state Former U.S. Secretary Mike Pompeo said in a statement Tuesday on the last full day of the Trump administration. News of the Twitter restriction was first reported by Bloomberg. A Twitter spokesperson said that the tweet had violated the company's content policy, which prohibits the dehumanization of a group of people based on their religion, caste, age, disability, serious disease, national origin, race, or ethnicity. The tweet is now, quote, no longer available on the platform. Let me scan. Okay, I'll just finish this out. The embassy's account, meanwhile, will remain locked until the tweet is deleted, according to Twitter, in similar cases, including one involving former President Donald Trump's account. Twitter has required the user to manually delete the post in question before regaining the ability to post, which is kind of a funny, like, sociological parenting type of thing. Like, we could delete this, but we want you to do it. Take responsibility. Yeah. You clean up your own mess. The Chinese embassy, for its part, has not tweeted since January 9th. It is not clear whether the embassy intends to delete the post and restore the account. The delegation in Washington did not immediately respond to request, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. The rest is just kind of nonsense at the end here. So there you go. You know, there's been a lot of interesting, well, that has been one of the main arguments when it comes to Trump and other conservatives getting blocked on Twitter and other social media platforms, is like, you let a genocidal country tweet all you want, a communist, genocidal, tyrannical government post whatever they want on Twitter, but you get rid of, a MAGA hat wearing grandma in Tennessee. This is not right. And so the funny thing about this was China came back with claims of a double standard, which I don't quite understand.
Multiple levels standard. Of irony, yeah. But also somewhat telling the truth in regards to Twitter. There was another story to kind of piggyback off the one we just covered there. This is nationalfile.com. And Twitter embroiled in new child porn scandal as lawsuit claims they defend sick content, says it doesn't, quote, violate policies. Kind of gives away the whole idea there. But it says here, Twitter has been hit with yet another child porn scandal with the new lawsuit claiming that they refused to take illegal content down because it didn't violate policies. The lawsuit filed on Wednesday in a federal court in California related to the case of a 17-year-old from Florida, only identified as John Doe, who, when he was between 13 and 14, had sexual images and videos of him widely distributed on Twitter. Sex traffickers posing as a 16-year-old female classmate blackmailed him to share nude content. After initially exchanging nude content, the victim was then forced to share more. Otherwise, the material would be shared with his parents, quote, parents, coach, pastors, and others. That's like the exact same kind of like extortion tactics on politicians. Almost exact same. It's just happening at a smaller scale there.
Yeah, well, it's being used to harvest images.
Images, changed or, behavioral manipulation, controlling what they do.
Abuse and manipulation. It's sick.
Yeah. Doe first complied under duress, the lawsuit notes, but then managed to block the traffickers. However, at some point in 2019, the images was then shared to Twitter from two accounts that were known to share this material. And it goes on here, but basically, Twitter's going to really not do anything about this, but then ban President Trump's account because they don't like his politics or his opinion on what happened with the elections.
And this was coming from the person who was being exploited on Twitter, and they had made complaints and reported the images and got the response that, it doesn't go against our policies. Oh, child pornography doesn't go against your policies. They had to bring it up to the, I believe it was the DOD. They brought it all the way up to a federal level, and only after the federal government calling Twitter did they take down what DHS?
Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah. You're right. only after a call from the DHS did they take down child pornography off of Twitter. It's really, I don't know what they think is going on over there, but it's about time these guys get taken down a notch.
Maybe more than just a notch there, but yeah. So when China, when China says double standard Twitter, and there's clear evidence of double standards like this, I mean, I didn't think it would ever happen, Basil, but I think we agree with the Chinese nationals there on at least that one particular issue. But
let's take them all down. But
take them down.
Just don't be there. Nobody be on Twitter.
Now you're sounding like those anarchists, those the Antifa folk burning American flags in the streets.
Burn it down.
You can do anything you want.
I'll burn a Twitter flag. I know I'm there, and I like making fun of people, but
Twitter flag. Burn down a Twitter flag. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would take us down.
Okay, we got a lot of really good Waxine stuff to go into. Should we take a quick break?
Let's do it.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're just going to take a really quick break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got about 6 very important pandemic special updates that you're going to want to stay up to date on. But before we get to that, we want to thank some of our producers. That's right, some of our producers. And today's a very special day, Gons' birthday, and we've got a lot of happy birthday messages for you, Gons, which I can't wait to get to. But for those who might be new to the show, I kind of want to explain what I'm talking about when I talk about producers. You may notice that we do not do any advertisements. In fact, we do not take any corporate money whatsoever, not even from YouTube or any of the platforms that claim to be places for creators to blah, 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 blah. No, nothing, baby. We are 100% on the value for value model, which means that, we don't have to worry about pesky corporate interests. We get to talk about whatever we want, and we don't have to worry about getting any funding pulled or whatever. And in addition, the value for value model not only empowers us to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done, but it empowers you, dear listener, to take responsibility, to take power back into your own hands, and to tell the establishment that you're not going to take it anymore. No longer are you going to consent to have your big data harvested, to have your privacy infiltrated strictly majorly for the benefit of advertising companies, where they take all that information and they run it through their machines, and then they do what they got to do with that info to turn you into a nice, profitable little unit of monetary gain. And on top of that, when people participate in the advertising industry, whether by supporting shows that, take advantage of their trust and their attention and turns around and monetizes that to manipulate your digital surroundings in order to make money off of you, but also to manipulate the messaging that is allowed to go out on those platforms. So, instead, the value for value model empowers you to rebel against being passive units of monetary gain for big corporations, and also empower the media that you trust and enjoy and wish that there was just more of. And that's the way that we're able to keep this show going, and we appreciate it very much. And like I said, you become a producer, and that's not just a cutesy title. That's the real deal. If you pay to support a piece of media to be created, you're not just a donor, it's not just charity, but you are a producer of that piece of media. And so we would like to thank some of our producers. Now, if you don't know, now you know. Patreon.com/CCNT is one of the easier ways to become a producer of the show. But luckily, this segment will be short because as of right now, there are no new supporters on the Patreon. Now, that's okay, though, because a lot of people don't like Patreon. That's okay. We support you. That's why you can head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And over at canarycryradio.com/support, you are able to become a producer. You can do that by coming in with a monthly producership, or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And Gons, what do you think? Do you want to just sit back while I read you happy birthday messages, or how do you want to do that?
Sure. Yeah, that makes my job easier.
Take a load off.
All right.
Now we did have some producerships come in during the show.
I just added a bunch now, so
okay.
Yeah, I saw those come in.
Did you make it all the way up to?
I think I did all the way up to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you do that. I'll just start going through. You make sure you make it all the way up. Okay, well, we're going to start out with a big ol' happy birthday to you, Gons. Thank you for being such a wonderful part of all of our lives, including mine. So I'll start out with some producers who came in. And first of all, I want to thank producer Nathan S. with, now one of the birthday producerships was 1983, which was the year that you were born. But he just threw in a penny just to round it off to a nice 1984. Thank you, producer Nathan S.
Thank you, producer Nathan.
Yeah. Next, we have producer. Now, we need to contact this person and make sure we're saying their name right, but I'm going to do both. Thank you to producer Kara or Sarah. That's right. She came.
I thought I don't know. There's a few producers with a similar name, and I can't remember if we vetted it with her or not.
Yeah, we'll need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think it's Sarah with a C, but Kara is also a name. So,
yeah.
But they leave a message that says, "Happy birthday, Gons. You may not feel it, but you are still young, just busy in life at the important stage of raising children. You'll start feeling younger again when your kids are grown and you have more freedom. Don't allow yourself to get grumpier between now and then." Smiley face.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm trying to not get more grumpy, but
yes, as if it were possible for you to even get grumpier, Guns.
It's possible. Trust me, it's possible. It can get real bad.
Next, I want to thank producer Stephanie D.
Thank you, producer Stephanie D.
Coming in with the birthday donation or birthday producership. She says, "Happy birthday, Gons. I did my first donation of $38 for your day.
Yay.
Best month for birthdays. I'm just 10 days older than you. Thank you both for what you do. Your show is a true blessing."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And also happy birthday to you, producer Stephanie.
Yeah.
I don't think we did a, birthday for producer Stephanie. So there you go. There was on this next one, Gons, there was a different name that we are supposed to go by, but I will pull it up right now.
I think it's in the note.
Oh, okay. Yep. I think you're right. So next I want to thank, this is producer Cynthia M.
Thank you, producer Cynthia.
Yes, thank you very much, producer Cynthia. And she says, "Happy birthday from Maine.
Ooh.
God bless you and keep you and yours, Gons, and may all your days be spent with your heart seeking to serve the Lord Jesus Christ. I listen every chance I have and love catching the show live on Twitch. I'm so grateful for the work you do. Peace, Cynthia M. His peace over on Twitch." Thank you very much, producer Cynthia.
Thank you, producer Cynthia. And I've always wanted to visit Maine. It's one of those states that doesn't get a lot of play, but yeah, it's one of those.
It sounds quiet and nice.
Yeah.
And cold. I heard it's cold, and I like that. Next is producer Mark W.
Thank you, producer Mark.
And he comes with the 1983 and says, "Happy birthday, Gonzilla. God bless."
Oh, thank you.
Short and sweet. Thank you very much. Next is producer Sylvan.
Thank you, producer Sylvan.
coming in with the 1983 happy birthday Gons from Sylvan.
I think he came in with 1938, but that's okay.
Oh, that's much older.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I'm really in trouble with the grumpy levels. But
next we have producer Ciara coming in with a happy birthday Gons. Thought I'd invite Basil to our single Zoom meeting tomorrow at noon PST. Oh, there's a single Zoom meeting. When did this come in? Is that tomorrow? Well, if you're out there...
the note came in today, so it would be tomorrow, Saturday.
It must be tomorrow. Well, okay, there you go. I'm not going to be able to make it. Sorry, ladies. But but there you go. We got the Canary Cry singles group meeting up tomorrow. So head over to canarycry.community if you want to get involved with that. Next, we have producer Adam42.
Thank you, Adam42.
Yes, coming in with 1985. Okay, he's just making up his own numbers here.
I think he wants me to feel younger, which...
Oh, I think it's working.
It worked, yeah.
Happy birthday, Gonzo, from Adam42. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Next is producer Samira.
Thank you, producer Samira.
Yes,
I almost said
Samira.
No,
Samira with $38. Happy birthday, Gonzo. I really dig your intellectual, witty, comedic, and timely contributions to the truth community. Also, big congrats on your bundle of joy. Hey, Basil, I love you too, buddy. Much love. Uncool Paranoia. Thank you very much, producer Samira, also known as Uncool Paranoia.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next, we have producer Catherine I.
Thank you.
No note
Catherine.
on that one.
I didn't see one.
No note, but thank you very much with the birthday donation. I keep calling it that. Birthday producership of 1983. Next, we have producer Diana.
Thank you, producer Diana.
Yes, and they came in with the 38 for your birthday, but tagged on 33 at the end there, so we know that there are Illuminati handlers.
Just add another handler to the list.
Yeah, and they say, happy birthday, Gons. Thank you guys for making staying current on world events and with a focus on Christ so enjoyable. God bless the Canary Cry community with love from England. D.
Thank you very much.
Fun, England.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Then we had a 33 producership come in from Anthony L. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, producer Anthony.
Yes, and a 33 come in from Jacqueline A.
Thank you, producer Jacqueline.
Yes, and then we have producer Gregory G.
Thank you, producer Gregory.
And producer Jeremy F.
Thank you, producer Jeremy.
Wow, what a great day. You should have birthdays more often.
I know. I should. I will go ahead and get older, if that means maybe quarterly birthday or something.
Be able to pay some bills around here.
Yeah.
Next is producer Lorelei V coming in with 33.
Thank you, producer Lorelei.
Yeah. Didn't we do this one last week? We did this one on Monday.
Did we? Because we got a note saying that they missed hearing themselves.
Yeah, I think that was an old note, because we also got another note saying that they heard it on Monday. Well, we'll do it anyways. This was for producer Denise, who is our newest monthly producer. I believe we did it on Monday, but the note did say, "Makeup, thanks for all you do. My husband and I listen regularly and love sharing your show with our family and friends. I love how you always bring balance to the crazy viral videos, letting us know what is legit and what needs to be questioned." Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad we did read this note, even if
we did before.
Anyway, yeah. It always gives me confirmation to what Holy Spirit has impressed on me, but I do not have the time to look deeply into it. May God keep you bold and doing the awesome work he has called you to. God bless. Thank you very much, producer Denise.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have producer Saul coming in with this 777.
Consistent Saul.
Yes.
Is what we should call him.
Saul.
Just consistent Saul.
Yes, thank you, producer Saul.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that wraps up. Let me do one last little check, because if you have birthday donation or birthday producerships coming in, I don't want to, it's important we do it on the day.
Yeah.
So let me just go in here. We did Anthony L.
Looks like
right?
there's a couple more.
Okay. Yeah. I want to thank our new monthly producer, Lisalot H.
Yeah,
thank you very much, producer Lisalot H. Coming in during the show, right in the last moment there. And this, I think, will be the last one. Producer Lisalot came in twice.
Oh, no.
Thank you very much.
I think they
that
set
is
up
the
a recurring,
charge. Okay, yes.
A monthly thing. So, yeah, thank you, Lisalot, for subscribing.
Very much. Yes, producer Lisalot, our newest monthly producer.
Yes.
Okay, that does it for the financial producerships. Thank you to all of our producers of episode 290 of Canary Cry News Talk.
Very appreciative. That's a lot of folks. I
know.
My heart is warmed. I feel less grumpy now. So I can
now you can afford that cake that you splurged on.
Oh, yeah, the cake. Oh, boy. Okay, let's see. Other ways you can help produce the show is by sending in your jingles and with your artwork. We got a handful of jingles. We asked for a Kamala jingle. And actually, before that, let's do the Lloyd deepfake. This is producer Lloyd made me into a deepfake of Trump
accepting the Canary Cry Dutchman.
So here's a deepfake me Trump version accepting birthday wishes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. This is the weirdest thing ever.
Funny. Yeah, I remember this. You remember when they sang happy birthday to Trump?
I do.
Is that a rally or something? And for those who are just listening, we'll have to make sure this makes it up on all the social media. I think you posted it on your Twitter earlier.
I did post it on Twitter. For canarycrynewstalk.com, I will post a screenshot of it so you can see.
This is I think this might be your first official deepfake.
It is.
We knew it was going to happen, and it happened. What a great birthday present. Great job, producer Lloyd.
This is deep.
I've been showing it off to all my friends and family that have thanked me, like on text and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, thanks, but check this out. Freaked out my family.
That is so funny. That's a pretty convincing deepfake, too.
You know, I've always wondered what I would look like with the Trump hair. So this is a great way to consider what I would look like if I went ahead and bleached the hair and had that comb over. So
that's great. Well, great job. Again, thank you, producer Lloyd, Canary Cry Dutchman. What a great birthday present for Gons there.
Very good. Thank you so much for that. But let's get to the jingles here. So we have...
You're getting a lot of requests to play it again in the chat.
Okay.
I think you have to.
All right, we'll play it again. Here it is.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The voice really catches me off guard. It's such a good deep fake. I don't expect Trump's voice to come out of it. But you do a great Trump impression, so.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I could have. Maybe it was me.
Maybe it was. Who knows?
So, all right. There you go. Check it out. If you haven't on Twitter, I posted it as well. Thank you so much, producer Lloyd, for giving me my first deep fake. That's something, Basil, because of your situation. You won't necessarily have, at least until you decide to.
Yeah, that's okay. I won't get the cool birthday deep fake presents, but also, back in 2012 when I made the decision, I could not have guessed at the time that it would be one of the benefits of not showing my face. But now I'm grateful.
What I don't want is my bank to shut me down because they look at me and they say, hey, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. Sabotage.
You're Trump's. You're two-faced Trump.
Happy birthday, but we're shutting your account.
Yeah. So speaking of the Kamala jingles that we asked for, producer Stephen D came in with this. This is video, but it also works as audio. And here is the jingle.
I'm speaking.
This is Kamala laying down her weight, stopping the crowd noise and really boldly stating that she's speaking. I'll play one more time.
Speaking.
I'm speaking.
I think that there's a Kamala in there too. Listen carefully.
I'm speaking.
It is. It's in there.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to hear, but thank you for that one, producer Steven. Steven, by the way. Steven. Oh, here we go.
Steven!
So thank you for that. I'll give you that one.
There he is.
And then we got one from producer Alex G. And this one is, I'll just play it.
Kamala, what do you want? Freedom.
This was her freedom story.
Freedom.
Did we mention that this was, there's somebody tracked this down. This was actually a stolen story from somebody else, some activist.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know.
I'll have to look it up, but yeah.
This is for context, it might be a little low on volume, but this is the whole clip of Kamala saying this.
I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign.
Freedom.
Oh, maybe not.
No, it's not. No, that is a fun one though. Yeah. Wow. So many layers to things going on. Yeah. She told this story about how her mom or her aunt or someone would go on civil rights marches and push Kamala in a stroller.
Kamala. Come on.
Sorry,
get
Kamala.
canceled.
And then I'm going from memory, so this might not be exactly it. I apologize. But then a police officer came up to them and asked Kamala why she was here or what she wanted. And little baby Kamala said freedom. And
she made it up?
It's something. I don't know. And then people were connecting it with a story that was the exact story of some other activist from long ago.
Of course. These people never have their own it's almost as if they're clones. They're not even real people.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got one from
these
Kaikuto.
Types of baseless conspiracy theories, Gons.
I know. Well, I am Trump now, so.
Ooh, 4-horse squad. Speaking of conspiracy theories, 4-horse squad over on YouTube says Kamala is a white hat. Wait and see.
Oh, that is a very
I can do
interesting.
nothing but wait and see. That's exactly what I will be doing.
Yeah. Whoa. What if she does take it all down and bring us back to the constitutional republic?
That would be the biggest zag.
I would get a Kamala t-shirt if she did that.
Kamala is actually a huge Trump supporter.
Kaihuto sent this one in.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. It was a debate. It was a debate. That the whole reason, literally, it was a debate. It was called a debate.
Okay, nice little mashup there.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Kaihuto. And last but not least, Mr. Magoo coming in with a potential Kamala jingle.
Kamala. She comes and goes. She comes and goes.
Mr. Magoo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Magoo. I think
that's a good one.
I think when I have time, I'll come up with something that blends all of this together. I'll create some kind of hybrid Kamala jingle out of all of these. I think that's
good. That's a lot of good ingredients to really put together a solid Kamala jingle.
Yes. So thank you for all the people who pitched in there. But also we got some artwork to get to.
One art, please.
And this first one comes from Josiah. And it is a picture of Lady Gaga singing into her golden microphone. But instead of her phoenix dove holding an olive branch on her garb there, it's a canary.
Yes.
And the caption says, "Everything is better when you put a bird on it."
Yeah, it's very funny. That's a reference to what was that show?
I don't know.
The Portland, Oregon show about the hipsters.
Portland, Oregon show about hipsters.
It's from a show. Shoot, somebody in the chat. What is it? Put a bird on it. It's called Hunger Games. That's not what it is. Shoot, you do the next one. I'll figure it out.
Okay. So thank you, Josiah, for that. I have a happy birthday piece from producer Grace. Very lovely. Thank you so much.
Portlandia.
Portlandia. Okay.
Portlandia. Yes. Put a bird on it. It's a sketch.
I never watched Portlandia, so I wouldn't know.
It's pretty funny.
I really
makes fun of hipsters.
Good. I like this Happy Birthday Gons from Grace. She has some money.
Oh, she made you a little card.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's got a lightning bolt, a laptop, Stegosaurus.
Bunch of stickers there. A bunch of Canary Cry related stickers. Some robots.
A cassette.
Love it. A mobile because you had a baby.
Yep.
And an eye because we're in the Illuminati.
Yeah, and a canceled thing that looks like the Mark of the Beast.
Yeah.
The giant X in a circle. But thank you for that, Producer Grace. She has a couple more here that she gave us. This one is based on Basil's dream about an event that leads everyone to CCNT.
Yeah,
she did her take on it.
This one was great. Yeah, so this was it's a picture of you and I watching a TV and referring to my dream that I talked about last episode where some disaster happened in CCNT and I was so excited about the SEO we were going to get. On the TV is a news reporter. So
CNN.
CCNT. Yes, CNN. CCNT event, googly eye invasion. And there's googly eyes on everything, on buildings, on boats. And then you and I are having a little conversation here. Why do we have so many followers or new followers and viewers? Baz, have you watched the news today? No, let me. Oh my dream has come true. Prophetic. Googly eyes will take over the world. This will get interesting. At least we have more viewers. There we go. That's right. So thank you very much. Who did this one?
Producer Grace.
Grace. Thank you very much, Grace.
And maybe making some predictions there too. March 2021.
Oh,
on CNN.
That's when Trump becomes president again.
Oh yeah, maybe. Oh, that could be it. Trump right before Trump becomes president again. Googly eye invasion.
Yes.
And one more from Producer Grace. It's about a comment that I made about Biden becoming president and America going back to sleep because he is reversing everything Trump did. But we know the CCNT community will stay awake. And so it's a picture of mainland America and some scripture, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, Ephesians 5:14. And at the bottom, the quote, go back to sleep, America, as if Orange Man bad never happened. So there you go. Very good. A Twilight version of the U.S. there.
Yeah.
Or at least the mainland. I guess Hawaii and...
the lower 50.
The lower 48.
The lower 48.
Yeah. Unless there's something I don't know about.
Oh.
Let's keep going. Thank you, Producer Grace. These are lovely. I really... the whole community appreciates these. And let's see, where did my... oh, you know what? I think I forgot to throw in the Allie pick.
No, it's...
Producer Allie.
Into your thing.
Into my thing, yeah. So Producer Allie did Joe Biden on the
his Peloton.
The Peloton, yes.
Yes. His hairy legs Biden, and it's kind of funny. He's sitting on a stool over the bike, which I'm not sure how that works. But in Allie's artwork here, hairy legs, his legs just keep getting hairier and hairier.
I know
he's gone full Sasquatch on this one, and
he is Bigfoot.
Yeah, in classic Joe Biden fashion, he's wearing his mask over his entire face, including his eyes and everything. Oh, poor guy.
I love it. This just brings me joy every time. Good job, Producer Allie, on that one. And then I think that's it. We did have a note from what is this? I'm gonna name him here. Anthony, Producer Anthony.
Oh, yeah, this was cool.
He said in a note, imagine my surprise as I ate my second half-pound all-beef Costco hot dog during my lunch break when I hear the CRISPR update on the Wednesday edition of CCNT episode 289 mention Mammoth Biosciences receiving a DARPA grant. Fun fact, dinosaur scream. I guess. Yeah. I'm working at that very place From the belly of the beast, I'm not an employee, but contracted to do some security work in the building. Seeing that grant money to good use. Anyway, here's a pic of me and the mammoth. From Mammoth Biosciences. Thanks, Basil and Gons, for all you do to inform the people of the coming trouble. It's people like you that will be rewarded in the kingdom of heaven for being faithful watchmen. Yahweh greatly bless you and your work in the name of Messiah Yeshua, your Illuminati handler. Producer Anthony L. So there he is.
Yeah, this is cool. I love this. We've got producers who are of all walks of life, and many of them, I'm always surprised how many people are connected to the companies that we actually talk about. And yes, Mammoth Biosciences is involved in the ID by DNA. Is that what it's called?
Yes, ID by DNA, biosurveillance.
The CRISPR biosurveillance program. And what is this guy's name? Is this Anthony?
Yep, producer Anthony.
Thank you very much, producer Anthony. Keep an eye on that mammoth for us.
I know, it's pretty crazy there.
I want a cardboard cutout of a mammoth like that. That would be a good background for my office.
Yeah, instead of the green screen, you have just a giant mammoth.
I won't steal that one though, because I know Anthony. He's good at his job. I don't want to get tackled.
Yeah, you don't want to get him into any trouble there.
Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie.
Appreciations go out to producer Jade Bouncerson for timestamps.
Yes,
coming in, so I really appreciate it.
For those of you who watch it on YouTube, after the show is done live broadcasting, and you can come back and see the timestamps there. It'll help you jump around if you need to come back and listen to certain parts of the show without having to scroll through. And, of course, a big ol' happy birthday to Gons.
Yay.
Yes. And also, it's another very important person's birthday, and that's Dame Island Girl.
Yay! I get to not be alone. I get to celebrate birthday with Dame Island Girl, so this is good.
Yes, you and Dame Island Girl. And for those who need reminding, Dame Island Girl was the first member of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, and we love her very much. Thank you so much for being a part of the community and for all your support over the years, Dame Island Girl.
Yes. Are you ready for the jingle?
I guess I'm ready.
Happy birthday to me. And my name is Gonzo.
And lastly, remember you can head over to the canarycrymerchperch.com to get all your Canary Cry merch. It is producer run. Thank you to producer Dust and all the producers who make that happen over there. Everything is sold at cost to keep prices down for all you dear Canarians. And but you do have an opportunity to tip the webmaster or the artist, which please do both of those things if you can, or you could tip Gons and I. So that's canarycrymerchperch.com.
Jingle coming now.
Ooh, thank you. Okay. I think it's time to wake up.
Time to wake up jingle coming now.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Stomp, stomp, stomp. Oh.
A pandemic special.
All right.
Okay, you want to start us off or me?
I'll start us off real quick with a tweet that went out from James Lindsay, King of Your Mom. I don't know who this guy is, but he has a tweet that has day before inauguration, and the headline from NPR: as death rate accelerates, U.S. records 400,000 lives lost to the coronavirus. And then day after inauguration, headline: current deadly U.S. coronavirus surge has peaked, researchers say.
Oh, it's going down.
It's going down. It's plateaued.
It's all downhill from here, baby.
It's just interesting how Biden swears into office and all of a sudden the numbers start going down. It's a miracle, Basil. It's a Biden miracle.
He's done it. He's curing all of us.
He has done it.
With his power of unity.
Just share
Peace
that
through
DNA.
Victory.
Give me that hairy legs DNA, Joe. Just share it with everybody. Just it's amazing,
really
miraculous.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I got another one here from dailymail.co.uk.
Great source.
The headline paragraph, because it's Daily Mail.
It's the longest headline.
It's crazy. I don't know how they get away with it. Can Biden's vaccine drive ever end the COVID crisis? Highly infectious super COVID variants could drive transmission so high that even vaccinating every American would fail to eradicate the virus because they're not 100% effective. Wow, keeping it short and sweet with the headline. And it reads like this. Even vaccinating 100% of the population may not be enough to eradicate COVID-19 once super COVID variants become dominant in the U.S., a new study suggests. Great. The emergence of more infectious variants means that each new case would lead to a greater number of additional cases. Okay. As a result, vaccines, even the most effective ones, may not be able to outpace the rate of transmission. Analysis from the University of East Anglia found that the efficacy of the current available vaccines combined with the emergence of new, more infectious strains of the virus means the reproduction rate described by scientists as R will always stay above 0, meaning each infection will lead to another case. If the transmission rate of coronavirus could be slowed to an R number of 1, the pandemic would be considered stable. If it falls below 1, infectious disease experts would consider the outbreak to be waning. The East Anglia study suggests that even the shot with the best efficacy rating, Pfizer's at 95%, would need to be given. Come on, typo. To more than 80% of the population to bring the R number of the UK variant for similarly infectious ones below 1. Even vaccinating 100% of the population with the more effective Pfizer and Moderna jabs would not drive the R number to 0. The researchers suggest less effective shots like Oxford University's could not drive the R number below 1, even if 100% of the population received it. On his very first day in office, that is a phrase we've been reading way too often.
Yeah.
On his very first day in office, President Biden signed 17 executive orders, including a mask mandate for all federal territories and properties, and promised to get 100 million Americans vaccinated against COVID-19 in his first 100 days in office. But there's no guarantee he will succeed. No kidding. Biden's plans include opening 100 vaccination centers in stadiums and convention centers, funding states' own mass vaccination sites, and using the Defense Production Act to ramp up manufacturing of vaccine ingredients and supplies. It could take weeks for the results of these new plans to show themselves, and the new study suggests time is more of the essence than ever, with the already dire race between vaccination and the spread of coronavirus is heating up more still. And so long as vaccines are less than 100% effective, fast-spreading variants may always be able to slip through the cracks. Currently, the U.S. has an average R number of about 1.1, which is pretty low, but arrival of the more infectious UK super COVID variant, or potentially the South African and Brazilian variants, oh no, not yet found in the US, threatens to drive that number up by about 70%.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, predicted last week that the UK variant could be dominant in the US by March. Just a little refresher, that R number they're talking about is I think it refers to the amount of people that it spreads to on average per sick person. So a 1 means, each sick person gets one other person sick, which means it is a stable. It's not a growing pandemic or a shrinking pandemic. It's a stable pandemic. And 1.1 means on average, each person will infect 1.1 people, which is slowly growing. U.S. health officials like Dr. Anthony Fauci have estimated that between 75 and 90% of Americans need to get vaccinated against COVID-19 in order for the U.S. to reach herd immunity, at which point life could begin to return to normal.
normal. Yay. Like perpetual wars and sleeping public.
That's the biggest lie in this whole thing. This is the new normal. Did you have an article? Have we officially brought the articles and studies about how the vaccine does not stop the spread? It just keeps you from getting sick?
We haven't done a deep dive on any of that stuff in terms of showing the scientific papers.
Okay, yeah. So the scientific papers are showing that the vaccine doesn't stop you from being contagious. It allegedly just lowers the risk of you dying. You can still get a little bit sick or maybe not sick, but since COVID just sort of lives in your nose, the coronavirus, it'll just live in your nose. Even if you are vaccinated, you can still spread it to other people. So it's really worrisome when we're seeing all these people like, I got vaccinated, now I can go visit Granny. With the mainstream scientific understanding of COVID, no, you can't. Even if you get vaccinated, you that's why Fauci was saying you still got to wear a mask.
Stay home.
Still got to stay home. Even if you have the vaccine, you can't go back to normal type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to a couple more of the flipperoos that have taken place on the world stage there with the Rona. But real quick, I do want to mention this.
It's Newsome science, baby! Ha!
Baby!
Newsome science. And that's Brent Pella, for anybody wondering what that was. That was Brent Pella doing an impersonation of Governor Newsom. Oh, dailymail.co.uk. Another sentence of a headline. Did shutting down outdoor dining spur California's COVID-19 surge?
No, Newsom.
Experts say the ban forced people to gather at homes and caused the virus to spread even faster as more than 50 restaurateurs sue Governor Newsom over loss of business. Let's go, Cali. Come on, Cali restaurateurs. Let's get this guy out of here. I got to sign that the recall on Newsom paper.
Yeah, you haven't signed the petition yet?
I'm kind of I'm keeping an eye on how it's going. And I haven't in a couple days, but
you might be able to do a good job of getting some extra signatures there too.
I know.
With all your Californian Face Like the Sun fans.
Yeah, that might be something I got to do. We got to organize that. But yeah, I mean, this is it's just funny how they're all suing Newsom, and there's not much to say about it. I think the headline tells the story, but it is different in LA County as it is in other parts of where I am in Orange County. I think in Orange County, we're kind of like, yeah, the shutdowns. Okay. But I see a lot of restaurants still open and doing the outdoor dining and stuff like that.
The majority of places are pretty fed up.
Yeah. It's just LA. It's LA County where they're like, oh, we must listen to the overlords.
I feel like they're even open quite a bit there, though, too.
It's a little bit more open. There are a lot of people that are, because
like I said, people are just starting to wake up and stop being controlled by the government.
Yeah, which is very fascinating. I think America is the only place, well, maybe not the only place, but one of the places where if we do it in mass, the government can't do anything. They can't arrest everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they can try. They can just, I don't know, hit us with a tsunami or something. I mean,
you basically are just in prison already. Why need to arrest you if you're already in prison?
Right. But there you go. That's a good development there. And hopefully the businesses that did get wiped out, they get something back and they're able to open up again or whatever and, move on with just life. And I'm glad that they're really nailing Newsom. I had a LibJo type of friend who I was talking to over the summer last year, and he was a big Newsom fan. I think he's doing a great job with our budget and all. And I was like, oh boy, that is.
Did he wake up? Has he woken up?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get into it a whole lot. We did maybe touch on it last year, but Newsom had that like $5 billion deal with some Chinese manufacturing company to manufacture masks. And it was like a car company.
Yeah.
It was, and they didn't pass the health tests. Basically, when they first tested out to make sure everything was legit, they didn't pass it. And I don't know. I don't know what happened to the 5 billion or the 2 billion or whatever. And I don't know if the masks ever did show up on U.S. shores or California shores. But
we'll never know.
We'll never know. But Newsom
science.
But even more important here is some vindication for us.
I tried to tell you.
This is from WHO.int. WHO.int.
International.
And yes. Yes. And there is a notice. There is a notice here, Gons. WHO information notice for IVD users 2020/05 nucleic acid testing NAT technologies that use polymerase chain reaction. That's the PCR test for detection of SARS-CoV-2. Okay, we've got an update from the WHO, the World Health Organization. Purpose of, it's in one of these notice forms. So let's see here. Target audience, laboratory professionals and users of IVDs. Purpose of this notice, clarify information previously provided by the WHO. This notice supersedes WHO information notice for in vitro diagnostic medical device users, version 1. Okay, so they're talking about the PCR testing machines here. Description of the problem. WHO requests users to follow the instructions for the use when interpreting results for specimens tested using PCR methodology. Okay, so listen up, follow directions. Users of IVDs must read and follow the IFU carefully to determine if manual adjustment of the PCR positivity threshold is recommended by the manufacturer. WHO guidance diagnostic testing for SARS-CoV-2 states that careful interpretation of weak positive results is needed. The cycle threshold needed to detect virus is inversely proportional to the patient's viral load, where test results do not correspond with the clinical presentation. A new specimen should be taken and retested using the same or different NAT technology. WHO reminds IVD users that disease prevalence alters the predictive value of test results. As disease prevalence decreases, the risk of false positive increases. This means that the probability that a person who has a positive result is truly infected with SARS-CoV-2 decreases as prevalence decreases, irrespective of the claimed specificity. Most PCR assays are indicated as an aid for diagnosis. Therefore, healthcare providers must consider any result in combination of timing of sampling, specimen type, assay specifics, clinical observations, patient history, confirmed status of any contacts, and epidemiological information. Actions to be taken by IVD users. Please read carefully the IFU in its entirety. Contact your local representatives if there's... The IFU is the instruction manual thing here. They're basically saying in 4 different bullet points, follow directions, and provide the count value in the report to the requesting healthcare provider. Now, the count value is referring, or the CT value, the cycle threshold value. For those who remember, with PCR testing, which is the quote unquote gold standard for detecting COVID-19, whoever is running the test sets the cycle threshold of testing, these cycles. And if you do more cycles, you can detect smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller amounts of COVID-19, all the way down to where you're not even really detecting COVID-19, you're detecting like a shred of DNA of what you may think is COVID-19. An easy way to, a good metaphor that I heard was, if you turn the cycle threshold up enough, you can get a positive result, but it's like finding a hair in a bedroom and saying that a murderer is in there.
Yeah. Or like and maybe producer Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say they're looking for certain words in a book, and it's if you find the word "and" in the book, then you're positive. And so they find the word "and." Oh, see, there it is. Similar to that, basically.
The metaphor battles continue here.
Metaphor wars.
Yeah. So basically, in this particular thing that I just read was, hey, pay attention. And also, a positive PCR test does not guarantee positive COVID-19. They're saying you need to, consider any result in combination with the timing of the sampling, the specimen type, assay specifics, clinical observations, patient history, confirmed status of any contacts, and epidemiological information. So they're saying, if you get a positive PCR, doesn't mean that they have COVID-19 or are positive. You need to take all of these other things into account. Some of them obvious, some of them not so obvious. And there were, hold on, let me see if I can, here, you can take that for a second while I pull up this other piece here.
I was just going to say the acronym IFU. I mean, if there was an acronym for the World Health Organization to be like, listen, read carefully. IFU. Get it?
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Let's see here. I was seeing a source, and I forgot to stick it in there. I was saying that in the IFU, it was saying to decrease the number of cycles, decrease the cycle threshold that's been required recently.
Yeah, I think it's in the overview here. Let me see if I can find the... Oh, I guess I have to download it. Maybe I don't want to necessarily download all that, but this is from September anyway. Yeah, so yes, it does. Well, number one, the report, this little note talks about making sure that you report the CT value. And there was something that said that...
Which they would not. We had a producer who tried to get their cycle threshold count for their test, and they went all the way to talking to the vice president of LabCorp, trying to get the CT count for their husband's test, and they wouldn't give it to him. They would not tell them what the cycle threshold was. Yeah. And so now they're requiring that you do have to report that cycle threshold. Hold on. Tell us health providers. Let me pull up. Okay, you take it for a second. I'm pulling up this other source.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's not much else to say on it other than the documentation that Baz was looking for.
There's something to say in that another example of the day after Biden becomes president.
Oh, true. Yes, very true.
Things changing. So what we're going to see, folks, is it's going to go away. I think they might actually, I don't know if they'll completely end it, because I think they have too much benefit from keeping an ongoing pandemic going. But now that Biden's president, we have to decrease the sensitivity of the tests so we can show that Biden is actually beating the pandemic.
That is just so deceptive and wrong, but
not
probably
surprising.
What's going to happen. Yeah, that's really, man, it just makes me angry, Oh, these people at the WHO.
On your birthday?
On my birthday.
Liar!
Those liars.
This is false.
Everything the WHO says.
Yeah. So I think this is interesting. I mean, on one hand, they're saying that this is never going to end and it'll never go away, and that's probably true. It will never go away.
In some ways, yeah, it's never going to end. There's going to be a segment of the population and media who are going to continue to spin how dangerous this all is, and then another part of the population that will just move forward with it. But, they need to continue on with a little bit of that fear, because not just to give Biden the, all the credit, but also to implement some of the surveillance apparatus that they wanted to for flights and things like that. They have to keep a certain level of it going. So maybe depending on the state, depending on the county or region you're in, the WHO stuff won't matter. But what's also interesting is that prior to this, Trump had separated from the World Health Organization, right? And the WHO was even saying like, don't you don't need to shut things down. There's no proof that this thing spreads asymptomatically, and they were saying all that stuff. But then, because we were separated from the U.S. or whatever, I guess they didn't listen to the WHO either. But now that they're back in with the WHO, didn't Fauci announce that they're going to connect? We're back in bed with the WHO. This type of information comes out, which, by the way, this type of thing, you and I covered this last year, along with many other shows, but, we did a lot of, showing the evidence. And if you and I can find documents like legitimate World Health Organization, NIH, and all these other documents that prove something hanky-panky was going on, I don't understand how your common citizen is just going to, they don't listen to either. I don't know. It's just frustrating because if you and I can figure this out, most people in the public should be able to figure it out.
Well, nobody wants to is the thing.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's too much thinking. But this PCR testing, this is great because, and we've talked about it before, but just to remind everybody, the way that this PCR testing works is as you manipulate the cycle threshold, you can literally control the numbers of reported COVID-19. And so, when we talk about, this is something they want to have ongoing, they want to, they benefit too highly from having the reason to enact, all these great reset type things. But now they can control. Now, when Biden gets elected, okay, let's turn it down a little bit. Okay, good. Okay, Biden's solving the pandemic crisis. But there was a conservative gathering. Hold on. Okay, let's crank up the knob just a little bit. Oh, see, because this conservative gathering, the COVID numbers went up, and okay, let's turn it back down. It's this crazy mass mind control knob, basically.
Control dial.
Yeah.
And it'll depend. I think it's going to depend on how the vaccine rollout is too, because now that it's plateaued and all this, it still hasn't gone away. But this is Reuters.com. Fauci says U.S. coronavirus infections may be plateauing. Vaccines should protect against new variants. And there's a video here. We don't have to play the video. But there's a secondary part of this article that states that most Americans will likely be vaccinated by the middle of the year, Fauci said, though he added he remains concerned about the amount of people who are hesitant to get a vaccine. So see how you just talked about the dial there. If they don't get enough people getting vaccinated, they can dial it up. Oh no, more people getting infected.
Yeah.
And then once they hit a threshold on the vaccines, okay, we can turn it back down.
Okay, I've got the their actual full notice open here. It's not that big. It's only 20 pages.
Okay.
But I'm still kind of searching through here. So at least on the next show we'll have a further examination. Need to control F here. Maybe that'll find it real quick.
Science is truth. Now is the time to do what you're told.
I'm going to take this last one here.
Burn it all.
Okay. Burn it all. BBC.com. Serum Institute. Fire at world's largest vaccine producer kills 5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. 5 people have been killed in a fire at the site of the world's largest...
Fire at the world's largest vaccine producer?
In Western India, yeah.
What?
The blaze started at a building which was still under construction at the Serum Institute of India's facilities in Pune on Thursday afternoon. Footage showed thick plumes of smoke billowing from a building on the company's sprawling site. The company said vaccine production would not be affected. The cause of the fire has not been identified. Fire was later brought under control, but the city's mayor confirmed that 5 people had died. Quote, "We have just received some distressing updates. Upon further investigation, we have learned that there has unfortunately been some loss of life at the incident," the Serum Institute CEO Adar Poonawala said in a tweet. "We are deeply saddened and offer our deepest condolences to the family members of the departed. Mr. Poonawala said there would be no impact on the production of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, known locally as Covishield, due to multiple production Covishield, due to multiple production buildings that I had kept in reserve to deal with such contingencies. Oh, convenient. Covishield is one of the 2 vaccines approved by the Indian government for use in its inoculation program, which began last week and is the largest in the world. The country aims to vaccinate 300 million people by early August. And, the thing that's really interesting about India is huge. There's a lot of people in India, and India, I think they've been talking about an outbreak. Wasn't there what was it? There was a bird flu outbreak in India recently.
I don't recall. There was the weird mystery disease.
The mystery disease, but then, okay, maybe not the bird flu because, bird flu fears. I mean, okay, but regardless, with C-19 here, they said they've had, India has recorded the second highest number of COVID-19 infections in the world after the U.S. since the pandemic began, and it's confirmed more than 10.6 million cases and almost 153,000 deaths. A little more than 1/4 of the deaths compared to the U.S.
Why does COVID, it doesn't seem very hungry over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The second most infected, maybe the PCR test is, the cycle count is pretty high there, but 153,000 deaths, way less than in America. And they have 3 times the population. So it's like, what? None of the numbers add up. This is all ridiculous. But you want to go down the Q hole. Maybe it's not Q, but just the fringe hole. Here's a tweet from Brother Berg. This ritual arson incident at the world's largest vaccine manufacturer happened 19,990 days after the founding of the Church of Satan, and on the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st millennium, 333. Then there's a picture here.
Wait, 1,900?
No, 19,990.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
The Serum Institute equals 3303, reverse squares. I don't know what that means. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. From Saturday, April 30th, 1966 to Thursday, January 21st, 2021 is 19,990 days, which has, of course, 999, which is an upside down version of 666.
Although, so this was a ritual.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, according to this BBC article, the production of the vaccine is going to continue on. So it didn't shut down the company, but 5 dead, which might, speak to some kind of sacrifice there. But interesting numbers, if you want to play the numbers game and the any significance there, I don't know, but just wanted to share it with everybody out there in case we find more strange anomalies with the numbers. But yeah, I mean, my biggest thing with the numbers is why only 1/4 of the amount of people have died from coronavirus in India.
That's like that all over the world. Nigeria is an interesting one. Yeah. They have, They have 200 million people, so 2/3 the people that we have, and they've had like 1,000 deaths altogether in Nigeria.
So what's the deal, man? What's going on? Is this a scam or what? What do you think?
Sunshine, man.
Okay.
They're good at wearing masks or something.
Yeah, all these people counting, the world leaders that are bringing this upon us.
They are scum.
That's what I say.
Wow, this is a very interesting document. But nothing to bring to you right at this second. But we'll finish going through this for next show, for Monday's show. Yeah. All right. How you looking? Are we all done?
We gotta get out.
We gotta get out of here. Gotta get out of here, folks. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Remember to tune back in on Monday, January 25th. some big Q thing is supposed to happen that day.
Whoa.
We just continue to do shows on the right day. So we'll keep you posted on the revolution on January 25th of the year 2021. It'll be sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so make sure to put it on your calendar, turn on notifications, follow us in multiple outlets. It's going to be very important that you do those things because who knows what'll happen. And let's see, I guess we'll give a little bit of forewarning. I think in the next month or so, we're going to need to change our schedule just a tad.
Yeah. So wife is going back to work from maternity leave, and that means me watching 2 children. And so we have to figure out a way to make that happen with babysitters and preschool, and there's all kinds of variables here.
Yeah, there's just a schedule shakeup, a general schedule shakeup.
Yeah, and hopefully, I hope that nothing changes, but it looks like it's going to, at least in terms of when the show airs. So just a heads up, no concrete time changes yet.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted, but we just don't want to take anybody by surprise. One of the options will be that we may do the live broadcast quite a bit earlier than usual. That's one option. So it'll be like a morning talk radio show. That'll be fun.
Yeah. With callers, we should have callers call in.
Kyle, you're listening to Basil and Gons, or should I say Barbell and Gaines? That was a fun thing I thought of today. Our workout, if we start a fitness channel instead of Basil and Gons, it'll be Barbell and Gains.
Oh, that is so good.
Pretty good, huh?
That is really good. Yeah, that's got me pumped. I want to start lifting now. Just so I can fit because right now it wouldn't look right now.
That'll be our yes. That's if we get shut down,
our alter ego.
Yes, if we're not allowed to go against the mainstream, thing anymore, we can just start our fitness channel.
We just talk New World Order as we pump iron and do deadlifts.
Yeah, we need to get. I don't know. Some of the artists, we need 88 to get in here and make our Barbell and Gains logo.
Oh, that is so good.
We're going to pump you up.
Bump. We should.
Okay, where was I?
Have barbells with Bitcoin symbols on the side, and we'll be pumping the price.
See. All right. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the schedule might change. Just keep an eye out for that. Don't want to take anybody by surprise. But other than that, I want to thank all of our producers, the Happy Birthday Gons producers on episode 290 of Canary Cry News Talk. That is producers Nathan, Sarah, Stephanie, Mark, Sylvan, Ciara, Adam, Samira, Catherine, Diana, Oh gosh, scrolling. Cynthia, Anthony, Jacqueline, Gregory, Jeremy, Lorelai, Denise, Saul, and Lisolot. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. It's really one of those situations. I mean, we'll keep doing the show as long as, it keeps being supported. It's a wonderful system. We'll know we're done, Gons, when nobody supports the show.
Yeah.
That's when it's time.
You know what's crazy about this setup, though, is that because we technically can't get canceled by anybody, I mean, they can deplatform us from YouTube or wherever, but they can't really cancel us. We can just continue on. And so we're setting ourselves up to do this show for as long as not just, the people supporting us, but I really hope that that's a long time. We can be doing this show for who knows how long, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, well, who knows? We could be old men.
Real grumpy Gons. You guys might be saying the real gray grumpy Gons. Come on here and just yell.
But it's up to the people, It's up to the people, which is better. It's not up to corporations.
Yes.
It's up to the people. If The people want it to keep going. It'll keep going. Okay. So yes, thank you to all of our producers. Thank you to our artists and our jingle makers.
Yeah.
And thank you to Jade Bouncerson. And again, happy birthday to you, Gons.
Thank you.
Another happy birthday to Dame Island Girl.
Yes. Happy birthday, Dame Island Girl. Or first Dame.
So, January 25th, some sort of cute thing is supposed to happen. So, we'll need some producers for that show. So if you want to become a producer of the show or continue to produce the show, one way is to head over to patreon.com/CCNT. Or if Patreon's not your thing, make sure to head to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Remember, you can become a monthly producer, or you can produce in one time in any amount if commitment's not your thing. Also, there's cryptocurrency for all you Bitcoin heads over there. And so we appreciate that. We'll keep doing the show as long as people keep producing it. And now remember, there's a lot of ways to produce the show, not just financially, but you can create arts, you can create jingles, you can create music. Make it show themed, and we'll feature it on the show at the end of the show today. Oh gosh, losing my voice. Remember, we'll have the Canary Cry mixtape at the end of the show. Stick around for that. Also, you can leave ratings and reviews. Very important. Oh, I didn't read ratings and reviews today. Well, I'll have to save that for next time. Leave a rating and review. It's another way that we can manipulate the algorithms to be on our side rather than against us. Oh, and as far as charts goes, I meant to mention this. One really notable one was for all the producers out there. Listen up. This is attention to producers. We were number 2 in Jamaica in news commentary. Yes. So thank you to all of our Jamaican listeners for bringing us up to number 2 in the news commentary charts.
I feel like the bobsled team. Love that movie.
Yeah, we gotta
cool
take
runnings.
a little trip. Gotta take a little trip to Jamaica.
Yeah.
See all of our producers over there. Okay. Let's see. Yes, ratings and reviews, very important. Search Canary Cry News Talk on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review there. Also share us out on your social media. But also, you got friends and family who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And you should share the show with them, because we'll be happy to join them in a way that is, alarmism free. We're not here to stoke the flames of panic and whatever. We're here to take a look at things as in the most objective, verifiable way that we possibly can, which keeps the sanity. It's all about sanity around here, folks.
Sound mind. A sound mind.
That's right.
Staying vigilant and watchful.
If you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Okie dokie, folks. And if you haven't done it yet, make sure this is your last chance to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. And we shall rule the algorithms with our desire to like the show. So thank you guys very, very much. And once again, make sure to tune in on January 25th. That's on Monday, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And there you go. Make sure to tune in then. But until then, think outside the cage.
Everybody loves waffles.
those waffles.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone.
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Joint. Give everybody magic mushrooms. Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered. Just put me on some, I don't know.
What are you shot in the butt? Fluoride, oxytocin, get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politic.
Many, that's seconds.
Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them dream always.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politic. Politic. Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politic. Politician. Politic. Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way.
Left wing. Right wing. 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 Left wing. Right wing.
Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Same bird.
Polly. Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick. Tick. Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politic. Politic. Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politic. Politician. Politic. Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. 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 Don't let them drain you all the way.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Robot girls are all together it's an image. 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 It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it. Don't push your button. Get in your spaceship. It will be over. Get it already. It will be started. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's a space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's a space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's a space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Now!
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
It's a bidet.
Don't get me started.
I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Cry radio, cry, news talk,
Humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
That was nice.
You're fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. In my people's zoo.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
Everybody loves waffles.